Chapter 1271. Facing the admiring gazes of the celestial fox people, the chief of the celestial fox people, Huchinchio, had a trace of uneasiness in his eyes. Huchinchio was initially a little dissatisfied with Yushang becoming the celestial fox saintess. He would rather have Yunsheng become the saintess. This was because the young patriarch of the Nine Wan tribe was unwilling to marry Yushang no matter what. However, when he thought about how Yushang's strength was extraordinary and how she had brought back the seven-tailed celestial fox inheritance that had not appeared for many years, it would be a great help for the Bahuang tribe competition in a few months. Thinking of this, Huchinchio felt relieved. The celestial fox tribe indeed needed a celestial fox saintess with the ability to rally people to revive the reputation of the celestial fox tribe. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the coronation ceremony of the saintess of the heavenly fox tribe. As we all know, the competition for the position of saintess this time is the fiercest and longest in the history of the heavenly fox tribe. Unfortunately, a traitor appeared during the selection of the saintess of the heavenly foxes. She killed 2 innocent candidates for the celestial fox saintess. However, fortunately, our new saintess joined forces with the other saintesses and successfully killed the traitor. She is our new saintess, Yushang. Huchinchio's enthusiastic opening speech made the people of the celestial fox tribe boil with excitement. Long live the patriarch! Long live the new saintess! Under everyone's gaze, Huchinchio waved his hand, indicating for everyone to be quiet. In order to celebrate the ascension of the new saintess, we will hold a celestial fox sacrifice. The sacrifice selected 1,000 humans who betrayed the celestial fox tribe and used their blood to celebrate the birth of the new celestial fox saintess. Since ancient times, the celestial fox tribe had a tradition of using the blood of humans to celebrate various ceremonies. Moreover, the newly ascended saintess had to cut off the head of the first human priest. However, the previous celestial fox saintess, Husheng, did not like blood. When she ascended the throne, she refused to perform such a sacrifice. Because of this, Husheng was always regarded as a coward and incompetent person. The blood of 1,000 humans? This is simply a massacre. In the crowd, Hurulin and Green heard this, and their expressions changed slightly. Huchinchio and Yushang were too bloody. No, we can't let her run amok. Hurulin wanted to rush out of the crowd. Madam, don't act rashly. Green held down Hurulin. He looked around and did not see Yunsheng. His heart sank. 1,000 humans were herded into the celestial fox shrine. They were all dressed in rags. They were old and young, and there were even a few children in swaddling clothes. Lu Yunchuang was also mixed in with these humans. She had been drugged by the great witch doctor and could not speak at all. Lu Yunchuang, do you regret this? Yushang grabbed Lu Yunchuang and looked at her frosty face. Lu Yunchuang could not speak. She glared fiercely at Yushang. Don't look at me so fiercely. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you. Let me see, which human should I choose to kill first? Yushang's eyes darted around and focused on a tall human man. He was a very tall human man with powerful limbs and a clean and pleasant face. When she realized who Yushang was staring at, Lu Yunchuang's body trembled violently. It's really him. Your lover? Poor Ice Fox clan. I heard that with your physique, if you mate with a man from another clan, he will be frozen into ice. Speaking of which, you should be thanking me. After I kill all of you, I'll bury all of you together. Oh, I'm wrong. I'll bury all 1,000 of you together. Yushang whispered viciously into Lu Yunchuang's ear. Lu Yunchuang struggled with all her might, but she was held down by Qin Yu. She could only watch as Yushang walked toward her lover. The human man was Lu Yunchuang's lover. He was a human ancient martial art practitioner. He did not even know what had happened before he was captured by Yushang's people. It was a pity that everyone in his village was captured together with him. He recognized Lu Yunchuang among the crowd. His eyes were filled with pain as he watched his lover being tied up. Tears welled up in his eyes. TSK, you're quite a good-looking young man. It's a pity that you're blind. Don't hate me so much. If you want to hate someone, hate Lu Yunchuang. If she knew what was good for her and cooperated with me, she wouldn't have killed so many people. Don't worry, I've always been good at killing people. Just one hit and your head will be broken. It won't hurt at all. With a look from Yushang, several celestial fox soldiers kicked the man's knees and pinned him to the ground. The man raised his head unyieldingly. There was only despair left in his heart. He looked up and saw the statue of the celestial fox in front of him. The first celestial fox people, Chang Hu Yin, looked down at the 1,000 pitiful sacrifices. Lu Yinchuang's eyes were filled with tears. Don't worry, I'll protect you. She opened her mouth and mouthed at the human man. The human man was shocked. He seemed to have thought of something. No, Yinchuang. A tear streaked across Lu Yinchuang's face. The pride of the Ice Fox clan would not allow her to die in such humiliation at the hands of people like Yushang and Qinyu. She wanted to self-destruct her magical soul and die with Yushang. Just as Lu Yinchuang was in despair, she suddenly heard an angry shout. I've seen thick-skinned people, but I've never seen someone as thick-skinned as you. You old fox demon, how dare you call yourself the saintess of the celestial fox? Let's see if I don't expose your scheme. Several celestial fox soldiers who were in charge of maintaining order flew out from the crowd and crashed to the ground. A human figure appeared. Lu and Hu Rulin were shocked. They looked forward and saw the human man being saved by a little girl. Everyone present, including Yushang, was stunned. It was a pink-haired little girl who looked to be only 6 or 7 years old. She had curly hair, a round face, and a pair of large eyes that resembled glass balls. The little girl was very short, but her strength was astonishing. Lu Yinchuang's lover was 8 meters tall and weighed around 150 to 60 kilograms, but she easily lifted him with one hand. The scene was rather comical. Who are you? How dare you interfere with the coronation of the celestial fox saintess? Yushang was furious. Wait, what did this little girl who had appeared out of nowhere call her? Old witch. Yushang almost exploded. This was the second time someone had dared to call her an old witch. The first was Yun Sheng, who had died a long time ago, and the second was this little girl in front of her who had not even fully grown out her hair. I am who I am, the world deity of the human world. You old witch who has lived for who knows how many years, I will exercise my rights as a world deity and expose your true colors. The pink-haired little girl glared at her and said confidently. Chapter 1272. World God? What was that? Everyone was baffled by what they heard. Only the great witch doctor, who was no more than a heavenly fox, looked surprised when he heard Popo's words. She looked at Bobo. Even though it was weak, she could feel a god power from Bobo that was similar to that lord's. Bobo didn't notice that the great witch doctor was secretly sizing her up. The first time Bobo saw Yushang, she felt that she was weird. Now that she had turned into a human, her god power had recovered a little, and her senses were stronger. She could feel that there was a foul smell on Yushang's body. It was like a corpse that had been rotting for many years. Yushang wasn't a saintess candidate of Yudu. Bobo was sure that she was an old witch who had used sorcery to come back from the dead. Yushang wished she could tear Popo in half. However, in order to maintain her image as the sacred lady of the sky fox, she forced a smile. Little girl, where did you come from? I don't think you're a human. I'm just dealing with a few humans, so why are you causing trouble? As she said that, she put on an amiable look and tried to walk forward. Bobo, you shameless old witch, don't come near this world god. The smell of rotting corpses on your body is disgusting. Bobo's small face stiffened. Beside her, the two sides were like two guards. With two scraping sounds, they vigilantly floated in the air. The moment the pink sides appeared, they stirred up a small hurricane like a hurricane. Yushang didn't expect this young girl to have such terrifying power. Her expression changed, and she flashed back. However, she couldn't stop herself from being affected by the divine power of the world god storm. Her saintess robe was instantly torn into rags, and she looked very pathetic. The powerful energy wave that Bobo gave off shocked Yushang, celestial fox people Zhanhu Qinxiu, and the others. Such destructive power? You killed Elder Lu's family. Yesterday, Elder Lu's residence was razed to the ground overnight as if it had been hit by a storm. Elder Lu's family, close to 100 people, were all dead. Due to the celestial fox saintess ceremony being held today, Hu Qinxiu could only suppress the news for the time being and secretly search for the murderer's whereabouts. Who would have thought that the one who caused the tragedy of a Lu residence was actually this 6 or 7-year-old little girl in front of him? So what if I am? They weren't good people. They used baby and little Ying Ying's lives to threaten Master, forcing Master to go to the 8 desolate mountain range. They deserved to die. Baby's face was filled with disdain. I remember your voice. You were the magic beast of that traitor Yun Sheng, that pink sheep. You actually transformed into a human? Qinyu was familiar with the sound of Bobo. When she heard little Ying Ying's voice, she immediately remembered that Bobo was Yun Sheng's magical goat. At that time, she had personally handed little Ying and Bobo to Elder Lu. Who would have thought that Elder Lu would be killed by such a little girl? So it's that mixed blood magic beast. TSK. It's rare that a magic beast can transform into a human. This saintess will personally capture you and hand you over to the great witch doctor to dissect you and see what kind of magic beast you are. When Yushang heard that Bobo and Yun Sheng were in cahoots, she said viciously, "Damn Yun Sheng." She had stopped her from becoming the celestial fox saintess. Now, Yun Sheng's magic beast had appeared. She was really haunting her. Dissect your head. You old witch, ugly monster. You're already so old, but you still want to imitate a young girl to choose a saintess. Are the people of the celestial fox tribe blind or stupid? How could they choose an old woman who is thousands of years old to be their saintess? Bobo stuck out her tongue. She had a sharp tongue, so when she opened her mouth, she scolded a bunch of people. The celestial fox people leader Qinxiu, and a group of celestial fox elders were also confused. A 1,000-year-old witch? What was this little girl talking about? Could it be that Saintess Yushang had some unspeakable secret? Shut up, you damned little bastard. You are as annoying as your master. Let me tell you, your master died in my hands. Do you believe that I won't eat you alive today? Yushang's eyes flashed fiercely. She was afraid that Bobo would reveal her identity if she spoke too much. Bobo, you old, ugly witch who knows how to boast. Do you think you killed our master? Let me tell you, our master is so powerful that he can stomp you to death with a single toe. Bobo made a face at her. Yushang was furious. She let out a muffled groan as 6 foxtails appeared behind her. With a wave of her hand, the 6 foxtails gathered together and turned into a long whip. Yushang could tell that Bobo was a little special. She was too young, but her 2 pink sides were too strange. Celestial Fox Inheritance, 1,000 Illusion Fox Whip. The fox whip in Yushang's hand was transformed from a foxtail. When she lashed it out, it turned into several whip shadows. Universe Deity Scythes Go. Although Bobo had the help of the scythes, she was still a beginner in fighting. She shouted and attacked Yushang with her scythes. Yushang sneered and twisted the fox whip in her hand in the air. The 2 sides were trapped by the fox whip. Yushang lashed out with the fox whip, and the sides were about to fall into Yushang's hands. You want to take this Universe Deity's scythes? Dream on. Universe Deity scythes chopped that woman's tails into pieces. Bobo spat and waved her little fist. The divine sickle, which was tightly trapped, suddenly became 1 size bigger. The 2 sickles let out a thunderous rumbling sound. Bang! A bolt of lightning jumped out of the scythes, and the scythes broke free. They cut the fox whip into several pieces and went for Yushang's head. How dare you, little bastard! Yushang was in a sorry state. She took a few steps back and withdrew her fox whip. When she looked behind her, she saw that a small section of her 6 tails had been cut off. She looked like a female dog with a bald tail. What the hell was that thing? Even the 1,000 Illusion Fox Whip was no match for it. Yushang was on her guard. Saintess, let this shaman give you a hand. Seeing that Yushang was in trouble, Great Witch Doctor took out a few strange black talismans and threw them at Bobo. Bobo recognized the talismans at a glance. They were the mysterious talismans that had caused her and Little Ying unbearable pain earlier. Scythe, come back. Bobo summoned the scythe back out of desperation. Celestial Fox Inheritance, Tenfold Fox Realm. Little girl, your scythe is mine. However, Yushang was very cunning. Suddenly, a celestial fox aura spread around her. The aura trapped the scythe, and the connection between Bobo and the scythe was cut off. Chapter 1273. Bobo wasn't afraid of anything, but she was scared of those black talismans. For some reason, every time Bobo touched those talismans, she felt her strength being restrained. Help! Bobo doesn't want those talismans. Bobo jumped in fright as the unknown talismans were about to land on her body. She didn't want to experience that pain again. Suddenly, a black shadow appeared in the sky. A crisp, pleasant voice accompanied the figure as it descended from the sky and landed in front of Bobo. You have to look at the master before beating a beast. If anyone dares to hurt Bobo, I'll make sure their entire family is annihilated. Yin Sheng's words were like music to Bobo's ears. Ying, my dear master, is back. She no longer cared about her dignity as a universe god. When she saw Yun Sheng, she burst into tears and snot. She lifted her pink head and threw herself into Yun Sheng's embrace without caring about anything else. Yun Sheng's beautiful eyes flashed, and the divine lotus hellfire formed a ring of fire around her body. As soon as the black talismans touched the divine lotus hellfire, they turned into ashes and fell to the ground. Traitor Yun Sheng, you're not dead. Yu Sheng's expression changed when she saw Yun Sheng. When Bobo said that Yun Sheng wasn't dead, Yu Sheng didn't care because she had seen Yun Sheng die in the ruins of the Celestial Fox with her own eyes. But when Yun Sheng suddenly appeared and blocked the great witch doctor's black talismans, Yu Sheng realized that Yun Sheng really wasn't dead. If she wasn't dead, Yu Sheng thought of the day when the last Celestial Fox's inheritance pillar appeared in the ancient Eye of the Seal. If Yun Sheng wasn't dead, wouldn't she have obtained the Celestial Fox's inheritance pillar? Who dares to step forward? Yin Sheng's eyes turned sharp. She suddenly faced the sky and let out a long howl. A sharp fox cry pierced through the 9 heavens. All the Celestial Fox people present felt their minds rumble. Even the chief of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qinxiu, felt the blood in his body churning. Those Celestial Fox citizens with lower cultivation bases found it even harder to control themselves. They directly knelt down with a thud. This was an unprecedented feeling. Yu Sheng's eyes widened in disbelief. That was the howl that sounded like that of a beast king, was the inheritance of the Celestial Fox. With a long cry, the golden rock in the sky also landed beside Yin Sheng. It folded its wings and respectfully bowed to Yin Sheng. In the Celestial Fox shrine, the statue of Fox Smoke stood at the side. The huge shadow of the statue shrouded Yin Sheng. What was going on with this kind of might that could make even a non-human demonic beast fall for it? Behind her, there were 7 foxtails, which shocked everyone's eyes. 7 tails. It was actually 7 tails. 7 tails? She's a 7-tailed celestial fox? The Celestial Fox citizens were all in an uproar. They thought that the 6-tailed celestial fox Yu Sheng was already a high and mighty existence. But now, a 7-tailed celestial fox had appeared. What's going on? Hu Qinxiu looked at Yun Sheng and Yu Sheng. So what if she's a 7-tailed fox? Don't forget that this woman devoured the hearts of Hua, Yin Luo, and Feng Lian. She only became a 7-tailed fox by breaking the rules of the Celestial Fox people. Yu Sheng wasn't confident in facing the 7-tailed Yin Sheng. She only had one method left, which was to accuse Yun Sheng of devouring hearts to obtain a chance to break through. Yu Sheng, I can't believe you would say that. My cultivation level is because I absorbed this Celestial Fox inheritance pillar. As for who devoured the hearts, you can ask Yin Shuang. Yin Shuang glanced at Lu Yun Shuang, who was standing nearby. She raised her hand and stabbed a hidden needle into Lu Yun Shuang's throat. Lu Yun Shuang felt a sweet taste in her throat and vomited a mouthful of black blood. The great witch doctor watched from the side, his old face darkening. Yun Sheng had dispelled her restriction with a single move. Where did this woman come from? She was surprised and delighted to see Yin Sheng. She had been blaming herself for not stopping Yu Sheng from killing Yun Sheng that day in the ancient seal's eye. That's right. Yun Sheng didn't kill Hua Yinluo and Feng Lian. It was Qin Yu who killed them. She devoured the hearts of her compatriots and obtained their celestial fox inheritance. The clan leader will know the truth if he comes forward to investigate. As soon as Lu Yunshuang could speak, Qin Yu and Yu Shang's expressions changed. Qin Yu, in particular, was so frightened that her expression changed drastically. No, I didn't kill them. The more Qin Yu spoke, the more confused she became. Her panicked expression made it seem as if she was trying to hide something. Could the clan leader really see through her? Impossible. Hu Qinxiu also furrowed his brows and walked forward. Among the celestial fox people's celestial fox inheritance, Hu Qinxiu, there was a technique called the 1,000-mile fox eye that could see through the bakar orcs. Hu Qinxiu's eyes changed. A pair of double pupils appeared in his eyes. Under the effect of the double pupils, Qin Yu's celestial fox inheritance could not be seen at all. Hu Qinxiu looked at Qin Yu again and found that she really did possess Hua Yinluo's Yama Fox Claw and Feng Lian's Wind Blade inheritance. With this, the truth was revealed. Yu Shang, Qin Yu, Hu Linglong, and the others had previously insisted that it was Yun Sheng who had devoured their hearts. Now, however, it seemed that Qin Yu was the culprit. How dare you, Qin Yu? How dare you, a mere mixed blood, devour the hearts of your compatriots? Do you know that this is a violation of the rules of the celestial fox people? You should be sentenced to death by 1,000 cuts as a celestial fox. Hu Qinxiu flew into a rage. His words undoubtedly told everyone that Qin Yu was the culprit. Miss Yu Shang, save me. Qin Yu placed her last hope on Yu Shang. Useless thing, Yu Shang cursed in her heart. Yu Shang had long seen through whether Qin Yu had devoured the hearts or not. She had kept Qin Yu alive because this woman still had some value. Who would have thought that she would be so useless? Patriarch, it seems that we have misunderstood Yun Sheng this time. This traitor dared to frame her compatriots. She has committed a heinous crime and should be executed. Yu Shang saw that there was no turning back. She moved and struck Qin Yu's head with her palm. Qin Yu cried out in agony, and her body fell limply to the ground. Patriarch, she's dead. Great Witch Doctor came forward to take a look. Take her away. A traitor like her is a disgrace to our celestial fox tribe. Hu Qinxiu was also furious. He waved his hand and ordered people to drag Qin Yu away. I say, old fox patriarch, we've found the culprit, but you seem to have forgotten something. Since our mistress isn't the culprit, and she has obtained the inheritance of the celestial fox tribe, and she's a seven-tailed celestial fox, she's the real winner of the celestial fox Saintus competition. When Bobo saw that Qin Yu was dead, and then looked at her master's majestic appearance, she pouted her little mouth and started to babble on the side. Chapter 1274. Yu Shang's face fell when she heard those words. Hu Qinxiu was also in a difficult position. Indeed, during the Celestial Fox Saintus selection ceremony, Hu Qinxiu had said that the final Saintus would be the person who obtained the highest Celestial Fox inheritance in the 8 Desolate Mountain Range. Because Yu Shang, Qin Yu, and Hu Linglong had insisted that it was Yun Sheng who had harmed her compatriots, that Yun Sheng had died in the 8 Desolate Mountain Range, and that Yu Shang had brought back the 7-tailed Celestial Fox inheritance pillar, all the elders of the Celestial Fox tribe, including Hu Qinxiu, had agreed to let Yu Shang become the Saintus of the Celestial Fox tribe. But now the truth was out. Yun Sheng wasn't a traitor. She had also obtained the Celestial Fox inheritance. More importantly, she had become a 7-tailed Celestial Fox. When she had appeared in the Celestial Fox Temple, the Beast King roar she had displayed was indeed extraordinary. The Saintus of the 7-tailed Celestial Fox tribe was second to none in the history of the Celestial Fox tribe. Nonsense. Who does she think she is? She's just a Celestial Fox bastard. Even her background is unclear. The first to object to Yun Sheng becoming the Saintus wasn't Yu Shang, but Hu Linglong. Hu Linglong would rather Yu Shang become the Celestial Fox Saintus than let Yun Sheng surpass her. Because once Yun Sheng became the Celestial Fox Saintus, Lu would very likely agree to a marriage alliance with the Celestial Fox tribe. Her plan to marry Lu would be completely disrupted. Hu Linglong would never allow that to happen. That's right. Although this lady is a seven-tailed celestial fox, she is part of the human bloodline in her. Moreover, it's a human bloodline from the boundless world. The great witch doctor of the celestial fox tribe walked forward and stared at Yun Sheng with her withered eyes. Boundless world? The seven-tailed celestial fox, Yun Sheng, actually possessed the bloodline of a human from the boundless world. The beasts of the 8 Desolates continent all harbored a deep hatred for the boundless continent. Sheng is not our enemy. Seeing that everyone was targeting Yun Sheng, Hu Rulin finally couldn't take it anymore. She rushed out of the crowd and walked towards Yun Sheng. Madam Rulin? Yun Sheng saw Hu Rulin and Lu. Lu looked at Yun Sheng with a gentle gaze. I can prove that this child is not a bad person. Her mother was the same as me, a 6-tailed celestial fox. We were born together in the Dutian blood realm. However, due to the heaven's will, her mother was separated from me and ended up in the boundless world. This child, like us, is celestial fox. She came to the 8 Desolates continent to revive the celestial fox tribe. Hu Rulin had never spoken so much in front of the people of the heavenly fox tribe like she did today. Her words surprised her husband, Hu Qinxiu. He never knew that his wife, Hu Rulin, was such a persuasive person. Madam, I'm only here to send her ashes. I'm not here to revive. Yin Sheng was confused. When did she say that she was here to revive the celestial fox tribe? After Hu Rulin finished speaking, she grabbed Yun Sheng's hand tightly. She shook her head lightly, indicating that Yun Sheng did not need to explain further. Yun Sheng's current situation was very dangerous. Once the celestial fox people believed the great witch doctor's words and believed that Yun Sheng was an enemy of the human race from the 8 Desolates continent, the celestial fox people would gang up and attack her. Even the other beast races of the 8 Desolates continent would chase after Yun Sheng. Hu Rulin had already lost her daughter. She would never allow her sister, Hu Jiuxing's daughter, to suffer the same fate. My dear master, promise her first. Bobo feels that there's something wrong with the great witch doctor and Yushang. We have to stay in the celestial fox tribe for a while. Bobo also communicated with Yun Sheng through divine sense. Yun Sheng thought for a while and decided not to argue. Rulin, is what you said true? She's your sister's daughter? Is she your niece? Hu Qinxiu was also puzzled. Why did Yin Sheng look so similar to his useless daughter, Hu Sheng? Now that he put it that way, everything made sense. I dare to swear in the name of the celestial fox people's long fox smoke that what I said is true. This child has no intention of harming the celestial fox tribe. Hu Rulin's face was full of sincerity. After hearing Hu Rulin's words, the celestial fox people became restless again. The elders of the celestial fox elder council also began to discuss spiritedly. Chief, we've already decided to let Yu Sheng be the saintess. If Yun Sheng is added, won't the celestial fox tribe have 2 saintesses? A mountain can't accommodate 2 tigers. How can a tribe have 2 saintesses? If word of this gets out, the other Bakra orcs will laugh their heads off. Hu Linglong's father, Hu Qinsui, saw that the situation wasn't right and questioned from the side. The outside world already knew that today was the celestial fox saintess coronation ceremony. But with Yun Sheng's ruckus, should the ceremony continue? That's right. Yu Sheng is the best candidate for the celestial fox saintess in terms of bloodline and talent. As for Yun Sheng, although she's a 7-tailed beast, she still has some human blood in her. The great shaman doctor spoke up. Hu Qinshiu hesitated. Chief Hu, if I may be so bold as to say something, the celestial fox saintess doesn't win by bloodline. Since there are 2 candidates, why don't we have another competition? Green, the young chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe, stepped forward. Hu Qinshiu was taken aback by his words. Why do you say that, young chief? The written and combat tests are already over. What else can we do to choose a more suitable candidate? Hu Qinshiu was more inclined towards Yun Sheng. After all, if Yun Sheng became the saintess, she would have the support of the 9 Phoenix tribe. It's simple. The so-called saintess is the saintess supported by the Celestial Fox tribe. The Celestial Fox tribe has many capitals and tens of thousands of people. Why don't we send 2 saintesses to the other capitals? In the end, the one who wins the hearts of the people and obtains the most faith will be the true Celestial Fox saintess. Green's words enlightened Hu Qianxiu. He was right. Since ancient times, the saintess of the Heavenly Fox tribe had represented the Heavenly Fox tribe and participated in some important activities of the 8 wilderness beast clans. She had another duty, which was to go to the disaster areas or battlefields when the Heavenly Fox tribe was in a major disaster or war. She would encourage the warriors, comfort the victims, and collect the power of faith. In terms of strength, both Yunsheng and Yuchong were qualified to be the saintess of the Heavenly Foxes. But if they didn't win the hearts of the people, they wouldn't be the true saintess. All right, I've decided. 3 days later, the 2 candidates will go to the south and north of the Celestial Fox tribe respectively. Whoever can gather the most faith in the shortest time will become the true Celestial Fox saintess. Hu Qianxiu's words startled Yunsheng and Yushang. The reason why Yunsheng was stunned was naturally because she did not know what the power of faith was. As for Yushang, Yushang smiled seductively. Collecting the power of faith? This time, Yunsheng was definitely no match for her. Chapter 1275. Yushang had been a saintess before, so she naturally knew about the so-called power of faith. However, Yunsheng did not know about it. She had lived 2 lives. In her previous life, she was a doctor who was well-versed in both Chinese and Western medicine, but she was a classic atheist. In this life, Yunsheng had heard of magic power, fighting aura in the boundless land, and the power of inheritance in the 8 desolate continent. However, she had never heard of the power of faith. What was the power of faith? As for how to obtain it, it was still an unknown to Yunsheng. The final test to become the Celestial Fox saintess was actually a test of the power of faith. However, Yunsheng was soon relieved. As the saying went, counter soldiers with arms and water with an earth weir. In any case, she would know about the power of faith once she embarked on her journey to the north. Due to Yunsheng's appearance, the Celestial Fox saintess ceremony had to be temporarily postponed. The next Celestial Fox saintess ceremony would be held after Yunsheng and Yushang completed their respective journeys to the south and north respectively. When that time came, the Celestial Fox tribe would welcome the true Celestial Fox saintess. After the Celestial Fox ceremony came to an end, Lu Yunshuang and her human lover thanked Yunsheng for saving their lives and returned to the inn to rest. As for Hu Rulin, she had a lot to say to Yunsheng, but Yunsheng was more worried about Popo and little Yingying's situation at the moment. Hu Rulin had no choice but to return to the Celestial Fox Palace with Hu Qianxiu. After returning to the inn, Yunsheng inquired about Popo and little Yingying in detail. Only then did she know that during her absence, Popo had forcibly broken through and transformed into a human, and the power of the strange talisman in her body had disappeared. However, a portion of the strange talisman's power still remained in little Yingying's body. However, when Popo and little Yingying left the Lu mansion, they found a few bottles of medicine from Elder Lu that could last them for a few months. Although it can last for a few months, it's still a temporary solution. Unfortunately, Elder Lu was killed by Bo. As for the Great Witch Doctor and Yushang, they will never tell us how to make the antidote. Yunsheng burned those strange talismans with the fire of Divine Lotus, but she deliberately kept some of the ashes of the talismans. As for those mysterious potions, Yunsheng couldn't find the formula. After taking out the ashes, Yunsheng looked at them carefully and found that the strange talismans had been burned to ashes. However, there were still some glittering golden runes on the strange talismans. Those runes weren't written with ordinary ink or cinnabar. Instead, they were condensed from some kind of power. If you didn't guess wrong, the source of the strange talisman's power was this mysterious power. It was also this power that had poisoned Popo and little Yingying. Dear Master, Bobo suddenly realized that these powers are somewhat familiar, but I can't remember where I've seen them before. Seeing those strange talismans, Bobo felt a headache. She also felt strange. Who and what kind of power could hurt her universe god beast body? Bobo, since you don't know, maybe you can ask Mingri. Aren't you two fellow apprentices? If you don't remember, maybe you can remember? Yinsheng thought about it. Bobo was still too young. Her current appearance was at most that of a 6 or 7-year-old human child. Although Mingri was cold, at least he looked more reliable. Perhaps he would know something. As long as she could find the source of this mysterious power, she was sure that she could completely cure the poison in Little Ying. Then, Bobo wouldn't have to be so cautious when she encountered those strange talismans next time. When Bobo heard that she wanted to summon Mingri, she was reluctant. She pouted her cute little mouth, looking very cute. Mingri would definitely laugh at her if he saw her 6 or 7-year-old appearance. However, it was related to Little Ying's safety. Bobo had to do it even if she was reluctant. Bobo unwillingly took out the jade that Mingri had given her and tried to summon Mingri. But this time, Bobo called several times, but Mingri didn't respond. Mingri doesn't seem to be in the underworld. Bobo didn't see Mingri's iceberg face and felt a little disappointed. She shook her head and got rid of the strange thoughts in her mind. She wouldn't admit that she missed Mingri a little. Bobo's jade was given to her by Mingri. It was the link between the two of them. As long as Mingri was in the underworld or the human world, he could immediately feel Bobo's call. But if Mingri wasn't in these two places, then she couldn't feel it. So, Mingri shouldn't be in the human world or the underworld. Bobo secretly thought, bad Mingri, as a universe god of the underworld, he actually left his post without permission. Humph! When she becomes an official universe god in the future, she must report to Mother God. It's a pity that we can't find Mingri. We can only temporarily suppress the poison in Little Ying's body with potions. But Bobo, you have the body of a universe god. It's reasonable to say that only one kind of power can hurt you, and that is the power of God. Only the power of God can hurt the body of a universe god. Yinsheng pondered. Hey, dear master, do you mean that there's a god behind the great witch doctor? Bobo tilted her small head and thought for a while. She also felt that Yinsheng's words were reasonable. But it should be just my random guess. The human world and the underworld should only have their own universe gods, right? Yinsheng couldn't help but feel funny for her overthinking. If there were other gods in the human world, wouldn't the world be in chaos? Gods were not ordinary mythological beasts, martial gods, or magic gods. They were real gods. According to the 4-totem mythological beast Vermilion Bird, once one became a god, he must embark on the path of gods and go to the god world. Yes, the human world and the underworld are very special places. The only god here is the universe god. Although Bobo is just a universe god, there's only one god in the human world. Bobo's pink little head was held high, like a proud little peacock. She was the only universe god in the human world, chosen by the Mother Goddess. There would not be other gods in the human world. Dear Master must be overthinking. As long as a part of her Bo energy recovered, she should be able to find the mastermind behind the strange talisman very soon. At that time, she would definitely banish that person to the darkest corner of the human world, so that he or she would never be able to beg for death. Well, let's tidy up and go to the north of the celestial fox tribe. Yinsheng looked at Bobo's angry face and patted her little head. Dear Master, don't worry. With Bobo, you will be able to collect a lot of faith power. North, Master and Bobo are coming. Bobo's little face was full of joy. Chapter 1276. The Deity Realm was a corner of the Deity Realm governed by the 4 cardinal supreme gods. It was an empty starry sky, and above the starry sky floated a throne. The 4 cardinal god was nowhere to be seen in front of the illusory 4 cardinal god. There was only a golden star in the void that shone with a gentle light. Mingri stood in front of the 4 cardinal gods. Because he was in the god realm, Mingri didn't know that Popo had just summoned him. Mother Goddess, Bobo has just evolved into a human form not too long ago. Shouldn't we let her return to her position as a world deity so that she can grow faster? Mingri, the mother goddess wanted to summon you to tell you this. From now on, you don't have to worry about Bobo anymore. A gentle and pleasant voice came from the golden star. The nether sun was slightly surprised. Supreme Divinity, 4 cardinal directions, was his and Popo's mother goddess. She had raised the two of them, and she loved Popo the most. It wasn't easy for him to find Bobo. Why did the mother goddess say that from now on, he shouldn't care about Bobo? What she meant was that he shouldn't interfere with Bobo's matters. Mother goddess, why? Although she was not able to take office on time, due to her mistake, she was still a world deity of the mortal realm. The mortal realm had been empty for thousands of years without a world deity. This is very detrimental to the stability of the mortal realm. Mingri could sense that a crisis was brewing in the mortal realm. Mingri, Bobo has made a big mistake. We've been trying to cover for her all these years. However, she still made a mistake. The supreme gods of the god world have already chosen a new world god candidate for cardinal god side. Although Popo was cowardly and useless, she was still the main god she doted on the most. For thousands of years, for cardinal gods have been searching for Bobo's whereabouts, but the human realm could not be without a master. A new world deity had been chosen, and if Bobo did not live up to expectations, she could only be abandoned. Mother Goddess, could it be that Bobo cannot become a world deity? Wouldn't she become an abandoned god? Her current situation is too dangerous. Ming Ri's heart trembled. This news was too sudden. Originally, he thought that Bobo would be one step closer to the position of world god after becoming a human. However, Mother Goddess said that there was already a new world god candidate in the human realm. There were rules in the deity world. Deities could not easily travel to other worlds, especially the mortal world and the underworld. Only world deities from the human world and the underworld deities could travel between the 3 worlds under special circumstances. Otherwise, they would break the rules and be punished by the deity. If Bobo could not become a world deity, she would become abandoned god. Such gods could not return to the god world. They could only exist in the mortal world like ghosts. What was even worse was that the abandoned gods would become the pursuers of all sorts of magical beasts and humans due to their divine bodies and divine bloodlines. This was because as long as they devoured the divine bodies and divine bloodlines, they would be able to obtain a portion of divine power. This would give them a chance to open the path to becoming a true god. If what the Mother Goddess said was true, then Popo's situation would be very dangerous. No, I'm just saying that she can't directly become a world deity, but that doesn't mean that she's completely disqualified. When the other supreme gods proposed the candidates for the new world deity, I tried my best to fight for Popo. Without the help of divine power, if she can rely on her own ability to win the support of the mortal world, she can still become a world deity. Mingri immediately understood the meaning of supreme God 4 directions. Both Popo and the new world deity candidate were candidates for the world deity in the human world. As for who could become a true world deity in the human world, it would depend on their own abilities. This was the world deity between deities. Mother God, who is the new universe god candidate. Mingri knew that he couldn't fight for Bobo anymore since things had come to such a stage. The deity world was different from the mortal world. Although there was no classification of magicians and warriors, there were different levels. In the deity world, the master god was the most basic god. Above that were the supreme gods and god emperors. Supreme God 4 directions was a supreme god. Mingri and Popo were originally master gods. They took orders from their respective mother goddess. Supreme God 4 directions was born in the ancient chaos era. She had strong divine power and a merciful heart. She had a noble status in the deity world. But other than her, there were other supreme gods. When Supreme God 4 directions rejected the opinions of the masses and selected Popo as the world deity in the human world, many supreme gods expressed their dissatisfaction. They all thought that Popo did not have strong divine power nor outstanding intelligence. She was not qualified to be the world deity in the human world. It was Supreme God 4 directions who argued for Popo to retain her identity as the world deity in the human world. who knew that when Popo took office, she encountered the most chaotic period in the history of the human world. Since the bloody battle between the 8 wastelands and the 8 wastelands of the 8 wastelands had stirred the mortal world into chaos, Bobo, as the universe god in the mortal world, was also affected by the battle, and her whereabouts were unknown. This matter had always been regarded as a joke in the deity world. They thought that Popo, as a god, could not even rule the ant-like human clan and the beast clan. Her identity as the world deity in the human world became the most controversial matter in the deity world. The new candidate is the young clan leader of the She clan, one of the ancient sacred clans. Supreme God Four Directions said helplessly when he mentioned the name. What? The young clan leader of the She clan? Mother God, this person has always been infamous in the deity clan. The deity clan he belongs to is one of the 100 clans in the deity world. Popo has no chance of winning against him. Although Ming Ri was already mentally prepared, he did not expect that the other supreme gods would choose such a strong competitor. The ancient sacred clans were one of the deity clans that founded the deity world. The 100 clans in the deity world were very powerful in the deity world. Many supreme gods in the deity world had good relations with the She clan. As for the young clan leader of the She clan, he was even more infamous. His divine power was very strong. If Ming Ri fought with him, he might not be able to win 100% of the battle, let alone Popo, who had just recovered part of her divine power. Ming Ri, you should believe in Popo. As a world deity, she has more than just divine power. You and I have spoiled her too much in the past. That girl has been muddle-headed for thousands of years. It is time for her to wake up. Moreover, Popo's life is filled with misfortune and misfortune. She has a lucky star in her life. Supreme God Four Directions' voice became stern. Destined benefactor. Ming Ri thought of Bobo, who was in the human world, and Bobo's owner, Yin Sheng. Could it be that woman was Bobo's destined benefactor? Forget it, Popo's matter ends here. Remember, you can't get involved in the battle between Popo and the She clan. Otherwise, it will only bring more trouble to Popo. After Supreme God Four Directions finished speaking, the golden starlight disappeared. In the Four Directions' divine palace, there was only an illusory, starry sky left. Ming Ri stood quietly in the Four Directions' divine palace for a moment. His eyes were unusually serious. Chapter 1277. Inside the Celestial Fox Palace, Hu Qianqiu questioned Hu Ruolin. Is that woman really your niece? You're clearly an orphan. Where did your niece come from? Hu Qianqiu didn't question Hu Ruolin at the Celestial Fox Temple. But once he returned to the Celestial Fox Palace, he couldn't hold back and started interrogating her. Is it important whether she is or not? Hu Qianqiu, you've never cared about the life and death of me and my daughter. To you, there's only the difference between having value and not. Hu Ruolin's heart towards Hu Qianqiu had long been dead in the past few months. Her return to the Celestial Fox Palace was only a temporary measure. You better hope that woman can really be qualified to be the saintess of the Celestial Fox and marry Green as soon as possible. Otherwise, you two will see. Hu Qianqiu flicked his sleeves and left angrily. As soon as Hu Qianqiu left, Hu Ruolin couldn't help but take out her daughter, Hu Sheng's ashes. Sheng, don't worry. You always wanted to help the Celestial Fox Tribe and restore the prestige of the Celestial Fox Tribe. Mother will do everything to help you fulfill your last wish. Yin Sheng is a very good girl. Mother also hopes that she can be elected as the saintess. I hope that you approve of everything that Mother has done. Hu Ruolin placed Hu Sheng's ashes in the room. She pondered for a moment and finally made up her mind to write a letter to Yin Sheng. Hearing that Hu Ruolin sent a letter, Yin Sheng was a little surprised. She opened the letter and read it. In the letter, Hu Ruolin wanted to invite Yin Sheng to the Celestial Fox Palace for a chat. After Yin Sheng returned from the 8 Desolate Mountain Range, she didn't have a chance to talk to Hu Ruolin. However, judging from the situation in the Celestial Fox Shrine, Hu Ruolin's situation was much better than when she had first met her. Hu Ruolin should have accepted the fact that Hu Sheng had passed away. I don't know why Madame Ruolin has invited me, but I'll still make a trip to the Celestial Fox Palace. Yun Sheng went to the Celestial Fox Palace and found Hu Ruolin. Although Hu Ruolin had seen Yun Sheng several times, she was still dazed for a while when she saw Yun Sheng again. Madame Ruolin? Yun Sheng felt a little awkward being stared at by Madame Ruolin. I'm sorry, I was rude. Yun Sheng, do you mind if I call you Shanga? Hu Ruolin wiped the corners of her eyes. Her voice was choked with sobs. When she saw Yun Sheng, she thought of her daughter. However, Yun Sheng was Yun Sheng, and her daughter, Hu Sheng, was Hu Sheng. Both of them were unique to their respective relatives. Madame Ruolin, you don't have to be so polite. My mother calls me Sheng. After Yun Sheng arrived at the 8 desolate continent, she missed her father and mother who were far away in the boundless continent. When she saw Hu Ruolin, she felt very close to her. Hu Ruolin and Hu Sheng were the same. Although they were timid and weak, there was a sense of tenacity in their bones. Madame Ruolin, I've always wanted to ask you something. Are you and my mother really sisters? Yun Sheng was still very concerned about what Hu Ruolin said at the Celestial Fox Shrine. In that case, Hu Ruolin was her second aunt, and Hu Sheng was her cousin. That's right. You're wearing this ring on your finger, right? Hu Ruolin took out a ring. When Yun Sheng saw the ring, she was stunned. The simple and unadorned ring on Hu Ruolin's finger was exactly the same as the beast language ring on her finger. Why are there 2 beast language rings? The beast language ring that Hu Jiuxing had left for Yun Sheng was of great significance to Yun Sheng. It was her who had allowed Yun Sheng to possess Bo Bo. It was also her who had allowed Yun Sheng to become a summoner. All along, Yun Sheng had thought that the beast language ring was unique. She did not expect Hu Ruolin to have a beast language ring as well. I was right. I had this ring when I was born. It should be the same for your mother's ring. Hu Ruolin looked at the beast language ring and sighed with emotion. They had the same birth, the same bloodline, and the same ring. However, Hu Ruolin and Yun Sheng's mother's fates were completely different. The daughter that they gave birth to had completely different personalities. Although Hu Ruolin had never met Hu Jiuxing, just by looking at Yun Sheng, she believed that Yun Sheng's mother must be a strong, beautiful, and powerful woman like Yun Sheng. Hu Ruolin could not help but feel envious. No, your beast language ring is a little different from mine. My beast language ring is a storage ring and a summoning ring at the same time. Yun Sheng took over Hu Ruolin's beast language ring. After a round of inspection, Yun Sheng discovered the difference between the 2 rings. It seemed that Hu Jiuxing's beast language ring had a much more powerful function. However, just as Yun Sheng was inspecting the beast language ring, her hand suddenly shook. She felt a weak force from the beast language ring entering her mind. Yun Sheng recognized that force immediately. That was the power of inheritance. Why would there be power of inheritance in the beast language ring? Before Yun Sheng could think about it carefully, a voice automatically flashed in her mind. That voice seemed familiar, but it also seemed very unfamiliar. Celestial Fox Inheritance, Beast Language Ring. Hu Ruolin's beast language ring actually contained a celestial fox inheritance. Yun Sheng had unknowingly obtained her 7th celestial fox inheritance. Seeing Yun Sheng holding the beast language ring, without moving for a long time, Hu Ruolin was a little puzzled. Sheng, are you feeling unwell? Why do you look so pale? Hu Ruolin looked worried. Madame Ruolin, I'm fine. About this beast language ring, have you used it before? Yun Sheng did not know whether to laugh or cry. She had picked up a random ring and learned a celestial fox inheritance. She really did not know whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a storage ring. My daughter, Hu Sheng, used it for a few years, but later on, for some reason, she returned the ring to me. Hu Ruolin did not know that there was a celestial fox inheritance hidden in the beast language ring. Hu Sheng used it before. Then this celestial fox inheritance was Hu Sheng again. Yun Sheng suddenly felt that although Hu Sheng did not have any ability, she seemed to have arranged everything in secret. In the end, a small matter of giving away the ashes of the deceased parents had caused her to be in deep trouble. She had really fallen into Hu Sheng's trap. Although Yun Sheng had doubts in her heart, she didn't tell Hu Ruolin about it. She did not want Hu Ruolin to be reminded of other sad things. Since Hu Sheng has used the beast language ring before, madam, you should keep it first. If there's a chance in the future, perhaps you can bring the beast language ring to the boundless land and look for my mother. I believe she will be very happy to see you. When Yun Sheng entered the Celestial Fox Palace, she felt that this magnificent palace was like a prison to Hu Ruolin and Hu Sheng. Go to the boundless land? Can I really go? Hu Ruolin widened her melancholic eyes. Of course you can. I promise you that I will send you to the boundless land after this matter is settled. Yun Sheng comforted Hu Ruolin. Chapter 1278. After hearing Yun Sheng's words, Hu Ruolin's heart was filled with warmth. Ever since her daughter's death, she hadn't felt this kind of care from someone for a long time. Yun Sheng was sincerely thinking for her. Sheng-er, thank you. It's just that I can't leave the Celestial Fox Palace. Let's not talk about this anymore. I called you here today because I want to pass on my one and only Celestial Fox inheritance to you. Hu Ruolin called Yun Sheng over not only to ask about Yun Sheng and her mother, but also to pass on her one and only inheritance, Dream Prediction, to Yun Sheng. Celestial Fox inheritance, Dream Prediction? Yun Sheng didn't expect that Hu Ruolin would pass on her one and only Celestial Fox inheritance. Hu Ruolin told Yun Sheng that Dream Prediction was a very special Celestial Fox inheritance. In the Celestial Fox tribe, other than Hu Ruolin, no one else knew Dream Prediction. After learning Dream Prediction, one would be able to predict what might happen in the future through dreams. One would also be able to see the person one wanted to see through dreams. Hu Ruolin also told Yun Sheng that she was able to meet Yun Sheng in the Celestial Fox Temple because of the guidance of Dream Prediction. What a magical Celestial Fox inheritance. However, it's a pity that I already have 7 Celestial Fox inheritances. I won't be able to learn this new inheritance for the time being. Yun Sheng secretly felt that it was a pity. Although Dream Prediction didn't have any actual offensive or defensive abilities, the mysterious ability to foresee was very magical. After Yun Sheng came to the 8 Desolates mainland, she had always wanted to find Yi Baiming. According to their agreement in the underworld, they should have met long ago. However, for some reason, there was no news of Yi Baiming. Yun Sheng also tried to find out, but there was no news at all. If she could learn foresight, she might have a chance to find Night Fox. However, Yun Sheng already had the Celestial Fox's Coil, Yama's Fox Claw, Golden Puppet Eyes, Traceless Fox, Beast King's Roar, and the 8-tailed Celestial Fox inheritance that she had yet to fully learn. In addition, she had just obtained the Celestial Fox inheritance beast language from the other beast language ring. With that, Yun Sheng already had 6 Heavenly Fox inheritances that she had learned and 1 Heavenly Fox inheritance that she had yet to learn. In other words, she had 7 inheritances. This meant that Yun Sheng had already reached the maximum number of inheritances that she could learn in her 7-tailed state. At the thought of this, Yun Sheng muttered in her heart, "Since when did the inheritance of Celestial Fox become so cheap? It was like cabbages that could be found everywhere." Although Yun Sheng's talent was shocking, she was still limited by the Celestial Fox bloodline. According to the Celestial Fox tribe saying, the number of foxtails determined the number of inheritances one could learn. Unless Yun Sheng broke through the 8-tailed Celestial Fox, only then could she learn the 8th inheritance that Hu Ruolin mentioned, foresight. You mean? You already have 6 inheritances? You still have one that you haven't finished learning? How is that possible? Hu Ruolin's face was filled with shock. Although she knew that Yun Sheng was a 7-tailed Celestial Fox and that her talent was much better than her daughter, Hu Sheng, she actually had 6 or 7 Celestial Fox inheritances at such a young age. The rest of the Celestial Fox tribe, including Hu Chinchio, probably did not know about this matter. Yun Sheng laughed awkwardly. If that's the case, then there's no other way. However, I can first copy down the Dream Predictor transcription. When you break through one day, perhaps it will come in handy. After Hu Ruolin finished speaking, she wrote it down seriously. However, Yun Sheng and Hu Ruolin both understood that Yun Sheng wanting to break through to the 8-tailed level wasn't something that could be done in a short period of time. After all, Even the current chief of the celestial fox people, Hu Chinchio, was only a seven-tailed celestial fox. In the history of the celestial fox tribe, the first celestial fox people, Hu Yin, was only an eight-tailed celestial fox. After telling Yun Sheng the foresight dream cultivation method, Hu Ruolin carefully instructed her again. Sheng, you have to depart to the north of the celestial fox tribe in the next few days. The north of the celestial fox tribe isn't as remote as Hu City. Furthermore, there are beasts from other tribes roaming around. The people of the celestial fox tribe, they are also living in poverty. Remember, you must be careful along the way. Hu Ruolin was like a kind mother, repeatedly reminding her daughter who was about to go on a long journey. Rest assured, Madame Ruolin. That's right, Madame Ruolin. Do you know that in the history of the celestial fox tribe, there was a celestial fox saintess called Hu Yusheng? After Yin Sheng found out about Yusheng's true identity, she had always been suspicious. Hu Yusheng? I seem to have heard of this name before. She seems to be the first saintess in the history of the celestial fox tribe. She was from the same era as the great chief of the celestial fox tribe, Hu Yin. However, she disappeared without a trace later on. Hu Ruolin had some impression of this name because of the appearance of the jade garment of Yudu. It's nothing, I was just casually asking. Madame Ruolin, let's meet again another day. After Yun Sheng bade farewell to Hu Ruolin, she prepared to stand up and leave the celestial fox palace. Just as she walked to the entrance of the palace, she saw the young chief of the Nine Luan tribe, Green, waiting at the side. After the incident at the celestial fox shrine, Green was invited by Hu Chinchio to temporarily stay at the celestial fox palace. For the past few days, he had been looking for Yun Sheng, but he didn't know what reason to look for her. Today, when he heard that Yun Sheng had entered the palace, he had been waiting outside. When Green saw Yun Sheng, his face suspiciously turned red. Young Chief Yun Sheng, thank you for taking care of Madame Ruolin for me. When Yun Sheng saw Green, she nodded. Before the incident at the Eight Desolates mountain range, she had entrusted Green to take care of Hu Ruolin. After the incident, Green had temporarily taken Hu Ruolin away. For this, Yun Sheng was still very grateful. Miss Yun, you don't have to be so polite. Green looked at Yun Sheng's delicate face, his mouth not listening to his commands. He fixed his gaze on Yun Sheng. After not seeing her for a few months, Yun Sheng had become even more beautiful. She, who was already a celestial fox with 7 tails, was like a rose in spring. Her skin was as white as jade, graceful and graceful. Just by standing there, she was so dazzling that people couldn't take their eyes off her. Green felt his heartbeat quicken a little. Young Chief, I'm actually very curious. Have we met somewhere before? Seeing Green's strange expression, Yun Sheng suddenly leaned forward and stared at Green's face carefully. Green's entire face was flushed red. When Yun Sheng suddenly came so close, he could smell the unique fragrance of herbs from her body. Her black eyes, almost transparent skin, and plump lips were a fatal temptation to Green. We met in the Dutian blood realm. We stayed in the cave together for a night. Green's breathing was unbearably tight. Oh, I remember now. You're that little boy who looks easy to bully. Yun Sheng finally remembered. However, Green didn't look like a handsome guy at that time. At that time, Green was like a bun that people couldn't help but want to bully. A little boy who looks easy to bully. Green's gaze couldn't help but change. It seemed that Yun Sheng had always seen him as a target to bully. Chapter 1279. But if it was Yun Sheng, he would accept it even if he was bullied for the rest of his life. Green's eyes flickered. Yun Sheng, you'll be heading to the north of the Heavenly Fox tribe tomorrow. I hope to hear good news from you. Lu's lips curled into a smile. Thank you for your kind words, young chief. I'll take my leave now. Yun Sheng nodded and was about to leave. Big Brother Green, what are you doing over there? Behind them, a rude and unreasonable voice suddenly interrupted. Hu Linglong ran over angrily. She heard that Green was living in the Celestial Fox Palace these days, so she had been looking for various excuses to go to the palace, but Green always refused to see her. She finally met Green today, but she didn't expect that the damn Celestial Fox bastard was also there. Just now, she saw Yun Sheng and Green standing very close to each other from afar. When she looked again, she saw that Green's face was also red. Hu Linglong had known Green for so long, but she had never seen Green with such an expression. He looked at Yun Sheng tenderly, as if no one else could enter his eyes. At the thought that Yun Sheng would marry Green if she became the saintess, Hu Linglong's heart was filled with jealousy. Hu Linglong, I don't think I need to explain what we're doing to you. Yun Sheng hadn't settled the score with Hu Linglong for framing her with Yu Shang last time. You're a mixed blood bastard. Don't think you're invincible just because you're lucky. Let me tell you, a bastard like you will never become the celestial fox saintess. Don't even think about coveting Brother Green. He's mine. As Hu Linglong spoke, she hugged Green's hand. Green's eyes turned cold, and he jerked his hand back. He glanced at Yun Sheng, afraid that she would misunderstand. Hu Linglong, what nonsense are you talking about? I have nothing to do with you. Lu and Hu Linglong were in a deadlock. Yun Sheng looked at the two of them. She already had enough things to worry about. She was too lazy to participate in any triangular relationship. Young patriarch, I'll take my leave first. Hu Linglong, the saintess of celestial fox, I must have her. Yun Sheng swaggered off after saying that. Hu Linglong, if you dare to spout nonsense in front of Yun Sheng again, don't blame me for being rude. Green was also very angry. Hu Linglong, this woman, kept pestering him again and again. He was already very annoyed. Big Brother Green, you clearly know that I like you. Are you doing this for Yun Sheng? What's so good about her? She's just a mixed blood. She's not worthy of you. Hu Linglong was furious. No one had ever dared to treat her like this. I like Yun Sheng, no matter who she is, whether she is a celestial fox or a human. I won't marry anyone but her in this lifetime. Green's words made Hu Linglong's heart turn cold. It's impossible between you and her. Just wait and see. As long as I, Hu Linglong, am here, Yun Sheng will never become the saintess of Celestial Fox. Hu Linglong stomped her feet and ran out of the Celestial Fox Palace in anger. Damn Yun Sheng. Her appearance had ruined Hu Linglong's entire plan. She had lost the position of the saintess of Celestial Fox. She had also lost Green. Green was completely devoted to that woman. After leaving the Celestial Fox Palace, Green's words kept echoing in Hu Linglong's mind. No matter what, she couldn't let Yun Sheng have her way. Hu Linglong ran all the way to the Witch Doctor Tower. She had to find Yu Shang. When she agreed to cooperate with Yu Shang had personally promised to help her get Green. Yu Shang, get out here. Hu Linglong was still a little afraid of the Witch Doctor Tower. But now, Green's words had gotten her head. She didn't care about the rumors about the Witch Doctor Tower and rushed out of the Witch Doctor Tower. Hu Linglong only found out a few months ago that Yu Shang had the support of the great Witch Doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe. What are you shouting for, Hu Linglong? The great Witch Doctor's aged voice suddenly appeared behind Hu Linglong, giving her a fright. Great Witch Doctor, I'm here for Yu Shang. She promised me that as long as I cooperate with her, she will help me get Green after she becomes the saintess of Celestial Fox. She will make Green loyal to me. But now that Yun Sheng is back, Green still ignores me. Hu Linglong couldn't help but feel short of breath when facing the great Witch Doctor. But when she thought about how Yun Sheng was being intimate with Green while she was being ignored by Green, she mustered up her courage. Lady Yu Shang hasn't become the saintess yet. If you want to blame someone, blame that Yun Sheng. The great Witch Doctor glanced at Hu Linglong. This stupid, purebred celestial fox was really hot-tempered. If her demands weren't met, she would probably make a fuss everywhere. Then let Yu Shang find a way to kill that celestial fox bastard. She's just a mixed-blood bastard. How dare she become the saintess of Celestial Fox? Hu Linglong gnashed her teeth. I have a way to help you get rid of Yun Sheng so that she can't become the saintess. But I need your cooperation. The great Witch Doctor's voice was as seductive as a viper's. What is it? As long as it can prevent that Yun Sheng from becoming the saintess, I'm willing to do anything. Hu Linglong couldn't help but ask. You know that in a day, Lady Yu Shang and Yun Sheng will go to the south and north to collect the power of faith. If another Yun Sheng appears in the north at this time, and that Yun Sheng is doing evil everywhere. What do you think will happen? The great witch doctor's words made Hu Linglong happy. If there was another Yun Sheng, as long as she did all kinds of bad things in the local area, the local heavenly fox people would naturally not support her, let alone the power of faith. But where can I find a woman who looks exactly like Yun Sheng? That damned Hu Sheng looked a lot like her, but Hu Sheng died a long time ago. Hu Linglong gritted her teeth. Linglong, you look a little like Yun Sheng. Here's a divine talisman. Take it back, burn it to ashes, and drink it. Then, imagine Yun Sheng's appearance, and you'll look exactly like her. Then, you can pretend to be Yun Sheng and do whatever you want. The great witch doctor took out a mysterious black talisman as he spoke. The talisman was very similar to the one that little Ying and baby Bo had been afraid of. Hu Linglong looked at the talisman, still a little hesitant. After all, she had heard from her father, Hu Qinsui, that the great witch doctor wasn't an easy person to get along with. She always felt that the great witch doctor and Yu Shang were strange. Every time she saw them, she felt a chill run down her spine. However, when she thought of Green's cold words, the last trace of hesitation in her heart disappeared. She took the talisman and immediately left the witch doctor tower. Stupid woman, before your body is devoured by the power of God, you can be of some help. The great witch doctor sneered, a dark light flashing in her eyes. Chapter 1280. Grand Shaman returned to the witch doctor tower. Yu Shang was in seclusion on the top floor. She was making her final preparations before leaving Hu City for the south. Yu Shang had learned of Hu Linglong's intrusion, but she didn't want to deal with that stupid woman, so she sent Grand Shaman to deal with Hu Linglong. However, Yu Shang didn't know what Grand Shaman's orders were. On the top floor of the witch doctor tower, Yu Shang's expression darkened. She'd been in seclusion for several days, but she hadn't made any progress. Both of them had received the seven-tailed celestial fox's inheritance. But why couldn't she comprehend it and become a seven-tailed celestial fox? The celestial fox's inheritance pillar she'd obtained from the ancient seal was still standing in front of Yu Shang. 2 months had passed, but Yu Shang still hadn't fully comprehended the seven-tailed celestial fox's inheritance. This was why she'd become more and more irritable over the past few days. Ever since Yun Sheng had disrupted her plans at the Celestial Fox Shrine, Yu Shang's mind had been in a mess. That damned Yun Sheng. Not only had she survived, but she'd also profited from her misfortune. She'd obtained the Beast King's roar from the ancient seal and broken through to become a seven-tailed celestial fox. 7 tails. How could an ordinary hybrid possess the bloodline of the 7 tails? Why was Yun Sheng able to learn the Beast King's roar in 2 months, but she hadn't comprehended her 7-tailed inheritance? Lady Yu Shang, I've sent Hu Linglong away. Grand Shaman bowed. You've been frustrated for several days. You'll be leaving for the south tomorrow, so please stay calm. How can I stay calm? That mixed blood's talent is too monstrous. I can't lose to her, Yu Shang said. Then her gaze fell on a corner. Someone was curled up in the corner. That person was the celestial fox, Qin Yu, who'd been killed by Yu Shang. That day, in the celestial fox shrine, in order to hide her collusion with Qin Yu, Yu Shang had acted first and killed Qin Yu. However, Qin Yu was still useful to Yu Shang, so she and the great shaman doctor were able to fool the other celestial fox tribesmen. After that, the great witch doctor brought Qin Yu back to the witch doctor tower. After Qin Yu was brought back, she was terrified. She didn't know what Yu Shang would do to her. Yu Shang was a vicious and temperamental person. What was even more terrifying was that she was actually the first celestial foxanus of the celestial fox tribe. Qin Yu felt her scalp go numb when she thought about how Yu Shang had been resurrected. Qin Yu, let me ask you, did you really devour Hua Yin Luo and Feng Lian's hearts? Yu Shang stared at her with a gaze that made Qin Yu tremble in fear. Yes, Lady Yu Shang. Qin Yu wouldn't dare do it again. I only did it because I was possessed for a moment. Qin Yu didn't dare act presumptuously in front of Yu Shang and the great shaman doctor. Haha, then tell me, if I devour your heart, will my strength increase greatly? After all, Yushang was someone who had died once. She was shockingly bold. Originally, she wasn't willing to do something like devouring the hearts of her tribesmen. However, Yunsheng's strength had increased by leaps and bounds. Moreover, there was a little lowly of unknown origin beside her. With the two of them added together, the pressure on Yusheng multiplied. Lady Yusheng, please spare me. Qinyu doesn't know. I don't know anything. Qinyu watched as Yusheng approached her step by step. She suddenly realized that Yusheng had saved her life because she wanted to devour her heart. However, it was all too late. When Yusheng's claws pierced Qinyu's chest, there was only regret left on Qinyu's face. If she had known this would happen, she wouldn't have. This was all retribution. Yusheng's fox claws searched Qinyu's chest. There was a series of disgusting sounds of flesh and blood. After a short while, 3 hearts appeared in Yusheng's hand. There really are 3 hearts filled with energy. Yusheng let out a bone-chilling laugh. She opened her mouth and swallowed all 3 celestial fox candidate hearts. When the taste of blood filled her mouth, Yusheng felt a terrifying power fill her body. Her entire body trembled, and her eyes turned scarlet. Is this the power obtained after devouring hearts? Boundless power. Yusheng extended her hand, and the heavenly fox inheritance pillar that had been stuck in the ground all this time suddenly flew into her hand. As the terrifying power flowed through Yusheng's body, the power of inheritance for the celestial fox pillar of inheritance poured into Yusheng's body. Her face constantly changed under the influence of the power of inheritance and the power of the heart. On the 3rd day after the Saintess ceremony, Yunsheng and Yusheng received Qianqiu's notice and headed to the celestial fox shrine. The two of you shoulder the heavy burden of being the celestial fox saintesses. Recently, there have been some incidents in the north and south of the celestial fox tribe. The local celestial fox people are very uneasy. I hope the two of you can hurry to the area and help me and the Council of Elders calm the people and restore their confidence. Hu Qianqiu said as he took out 2 celestial fox statues and handed them to Yunsheng and Yusheng. These 2 are statues of faith. In the coming days, Hu Qianqiu said, this thing is used to collect the power of faith. Yunsheng looked at the celestial fox statue in her hand. It was a celestial fox statue made of an unknown material. It looked very similar to the celestial fox statue in the celestial fox shrine, except that it was much smaller. Yes, the statues of faith are the most fundamental things of the 8 Desolation tribe. They are incomparably precious. Take the statues and head to the north and south of the celestial fox tribe. Whoever can collect the most power of faith will be the winner. On the other hand, if you don't receive the support of the people along the way, the statues of faith will shatter, Hu Qianqiu said seriously. This thing can shatter? Yunsheng looked at the statue in her hand suspiciously. I've said all that needs to be said. Please leave as soon as possible. Hu Qianqiu looked at Yunsheng and Yusheng. He also wanted to know who would become the saintess of the celestial fox tribe in the end. Yusheng will not disappoint the tribe leader. Yusheng bowed. I'll do my best. Yunsheng didn't know how to collect the power of faith, so she could only reluctantly accept this little thing. The two of them walked out of the celestial fox shrine together. Yunsheng, let me tell you, you can't beat me. Yusheng suddenly called out to Yunsheng. I'll return those words to you. Yusheng, you hit me a total of 109 times in the ancient seal. I'll return them all to you. Yunsheng sneered. Don't be so smug. Don't think that you're the only one with a 7-tailed celestial fox. I won't lose this competition. Yusheng sneered. She suddenly released the power of the heavenly fox in her body, and 7 fox tails grew out from her back. Yusheng had also become a 7-tailed celestial fox. Chapter 1281. Yusheng had thought that Yunsheng would be shocked when she revealed her 7 tails. Unexpectedly, Yunsheng did not even bat an eyelid. She brushed past Yusheng, leaving Yusheng standing there in a daze. That woman dared to ignore her. Yusheng ground her teeth in anger. Yunsheng, just you wait. Dearest master, has that old witch turned into a 7-tailed beast too? Bobo and little Ying were waiting for Yunsheng outside the Celestial Fox Palace. As soon as she saw Yun Sheng, Bobo ran up to her. Although Bobo had turned into a human, her habits were no different from when she was in her sheep form. When she saw Yun Sheng, she could not stop herself from snuggling into Yun Sheng's arms. However, she soon realized that she could no longer snuggle into her dearest master's arms and act coquettishly like before. Bobo could only use her chubby hands to hug Yun Sheng's arm and refuse to let go. Yes, but her seven-tailed beast appearance is a little strange. Yun Sheng's 5 senses were sharp. She noticed that although Yu Sheng had turned into a seven-tailed beast, her aura had become very murky. That aura was somewhat similar to Qin Yu's from before. No matter how many tails she turns into, she's no match for dearest master. On our trip to the south, we'll make that old witch piss her pants in defeat. Bobo looked like a cute little girl, but the words that came out of her mouth were not cute at all. Boss Peng Yu is ready. The 3 of us can head to the south together when the time comes. However, before we depart, I have to see someone. The person Yun Sheng wanted to see was Lu Yunxuang. Yun Sheng had previously promised that as long as she became the saintess of Celestial Fox, she would help Lu Yunxuang change her physique. Although she had not become the saintess yet, Lu Yunxuang had indeed helped her a lot along the way. Yun Sheng arrived at the inn where Lu Yunxuang and the others were staying. Lu Yunxuang's injuries were almost healed. After this experience, Lu Yunxuang might not have been able to obtain Celestial Fox's inheritance, but her feelings for her human lover had deepened. This was a significant gain for Lu Yunxuang. Honorable Saintess, thank you so much this time. As soon as Yun Sheng arrived at the inn, the people who were saved by Yun Sheng surrounded her. The status of these humans in the Celestial Fox tribal nation was very low. If it were not for Yun Sheng, they would have been sacrificed in the enthronement ceremony of the Celestial Fox Saintess. Everyone, I'm not the Saintess yet. Yun Sheng was still unable to cope with such a situation. You are the Celestial Fox Saintess in our hearts. We can only survive in the Celestial Fox tribal nation with a benevolent Saintess like you. Honorable Saintess, you must become the Saintess. The humans were full of hope and looked at Yun Sheng with earnest eyes. Yun Sheng, they're right. Becoming the Celestial Fox Saintess and helping the human race and half-beast people reverse this oppressive fate is everyone's common hope. Lu Yunxuang stepped forward with her human lover beside her. Yun Sheng still wanted to say something, but at this moment, she felt the statue of faith in her arms heating up. After Yun Sheng obtained the statue of faith, she did not know how to use it. This was the first time the statue of faith had acted strangely. Her heart skipped a beat, and she took out the statue of faith. Nearly 100 light spots burrowed into the statue of faith like fireflies. What's this? Yun Sheng was slightly startled. This must be the statue of faith. Don't worry, those light spots, just now, are the power of faith. The power of faith is the hope of humans. We all hope that you can defeat Yu Sheng. Those light spots, just now, are the trust and respect everyone has for you, Lu Yunxuang explained. The power of faith was a very magical power. After ascending the throne, the Celestial Fox Saintess would tour the major capitals of the Tianhu tribal nation. In addition to gaining the support of the people, another function was to establish a faith in the hearts of the people. The stronger the power of faith, the greater the influence of the Saintess. I, Yun Sheng, hereby swear that I will do everything in my power to help everyone fulfill your wishes. Yun Sheng held the slightly hot statue of faith and looked at the people around her, solemnly making the promise. Long live the Saintess. The humans cheered. Listening to the cheers of the people, Yun Sheng felt a vigorous power surging through her veins. This was the first time Yun Sheng felt the power of faith. It was also the first time she felt the importance of the Celestial Fox Saintess in the hearts of the people. Perhaps this was the real reason why Hu Sheng had asked her to come to the 8 Desolates continent. I'm here today to help you solve the problem of your constitution before we head north. Yun Sheng's words delighted Lu Yunxuang and her human lover. Yun Sheng had promised Lu Yunxuang long ago that she would help her change her constitution. However, Yinsheng had never helped anyone change their constitution before, so she did not know where to start. Recently, when she was studying Celestial Fox's inheritance in the ancient seal, she unexpectedly came up with a solution. Lu Yunchuang's constitution was ice cold. If she wanted to restrain her constitution, she could only use karmic fire. Yunsheng decided to combine the power of the divine needle of healing to force a portion of the lotus fire of karmic fire into Lu Yunchuang's body. I'll insert dark needles into several major acupoints in your body. The dark needles will not affect your normal life. Also, I've already refined a type of pill. You'll have to take it once a month for the next 3 years. Also, you can't get pregnant while you're taking the pill. This way, the ice fox constitution of you and your future descendants will be completely changed. With that, Yunsheng performed the acupuncture on Lu Yunchuang. Half a day later, Yunsheng had already inserted 18 dark needles into Lu Yunchuang's body. When she touched her lover with a trembling hand, she felt his warmth for the first time. At that moment, Lu Yunchuang and her lover both cried tears of joy. That's great. I can finally live like a normal person. Thank you, Yunsheng. You're the benefactor of me and the Ice Fox tribe. Besides Lu Yunchuang, there were many people in the Ice Fox tribe who, like Lu Yunchuang, had been affected by the Ice Fox constitution for many years. Yunsheng promised Lu Yunchuang that if she had the chance in the future, she would go to the Ice Fox tribe to treat the constitution of the tribesmen. It's time for me to leave. Boss Pengyu, Baby Bo, and the others are waiting for me. Yunsheng bid farewell to Lu Yunchuang. Yunsheng, where is your destination on this trip to the north? Lu Yunchuang only knew that Yunsheng and Yushang were going to compete. She did not know where exactly Yunsheng was heading to. Although the Celestial Fox tribal nation was the weakest tribal nation among the Bakra orcs, it was vast and spanned hundreds of thousands of miles from the north to the south. I've taken a look. We're heading to the northernmost capital of the Celestial Fox tribal nation. It's Yudu. Yunsheng looked at the map and suddenly realized that the place she was heading to was Yushang's hometown, Yudu. Chapter 1282. Yudu, it was actually Yudu. I didn't notice it earlier, but I didn't expect to go to Yushang's base camp. Yunsheng looked at the 2 words on the map. However, Yushang isn't the real Yushang, so even if she goes to Yudu, it shouldn't affect her. Yushang wasn't the real Yushang, so she probably wouldn't have much influence in Yudu. Yunsheng, you're oversimplifying things. Don't forget that Great Witch Doctor and Yushang are in cahoots, and Great Witch Doctor was the one who drew the lots. Although Yudu isn't Yushang's base camp, it's the northernmost and poorest capital city among all the Celestial Fox cities. The people there are also unruly. If you want to go there to collect the power of faith, you can imagine how difficult it will be. Lu Yunchuang looked anxious. The best way to collect the power of faith was to go directly to the local Celestial Fox temple and worship the statue there for 7 days and 7 nights to absorb the power of faith of the local people. If a place was rich, the Celestial Fox temple would be prosperous, and it would be more convenient to collect the power of faith. However, in a place like Yudu, it was difficult to even survive. The local people didn't have the time to worship Celestial Fox temple, let alone collect the power of faith and incense. I'll take it one step at a time. I'll go take a look at the place first and ask about Yushang and Great Witch Doctor. Yunsheng had always had doubts about Yushang's resurrection, so this trip to Yudu was a good opportunity to find out more. Yunsheng had already asked around. Yushang's hometown was a small Yudu city called Wasity. It would take about 5 to 6 days to travel from Wasity to Yudu by air. After bidding farewell, Yunsheng, Boss Rock Feather, Bobo Sheep, and Ying headed to a city. With Boss Rock Feather, who had transformed into a golden-backed giant rock, Yunsheng, Bobo, and the others' journey became much more convenient. After flying for about 5 to 6 days, the 4 of them finally arrived at Wasity. Wasity belonged to Yudu, and Yudu was one of the 10 great capitals in the country of the Celestial Fox tribe. However, compared to Songdu and Hudu that Yunsheng had passed by earlier, the closer they got to Yudu world, the more dilapidated the local scenery and cities became. Since the Celestial Fox Santa's competition was not officially announced to the public, the local residents were unaware of the arrival of Yun Sheng and the others. Master, Wu City is up ahead. Yun Sheng and the rest, as well as Boss Pengyu, all transformed into their human forms. Wu City looked very desolate. Even the city walls were piled up with yellow soil. There were no guards at the city gates. Only a plaque with the words Wu City hung on it. Let's enter the city first. We haven't had a good rest in the past few days. Let's have a meal first, and then ask around to see if we can find out anything about Yushang. Yin Sheng looked at the tired faces of Bo Bo and little Ling Ying. She knew that the two girls were too tired from the continuous journey. After wandering around Wu City, they found a restaurant that could barely be considered a restaurant. According to the local residents, this was already the best place to eat in Wu City. The restaurant was very desolate, and there were only a few tables of customers sitting in twos and threes. The four of them ordered wine and dishes, and just as they were waiting for the dishes to be served. Wait, Boss Pengyu cautiously stopped a few of them. He took out 4 sets of bowls and chopsticks from his storage belt and distributed them to everyone. Big Bird, don't tell me you have mysophobia? You even brought your own utensils when you're outside. Bo Bo was the smallest among all of them, but other than her own master, she had the tone of I'm the big sister to everyone else. Boss Pengyu was also used to it. Bo Bo, don't be unreasonable. Boss Pengyu, is there something wrong with this restaurant? Yin Sheng said as she looked around. She saw the restaurant's shopkeeper and waiter were secretly sizing them up. Sure enough, there was something wrong. Master, in terms of ability, I can't compare to you. However, when it comes to traveling, I'm much more experienced than you. Whether there's a problem with the restaurant or not, that's different from person to person. Boss Pengyu laughed. He had been a wanted criminal for so many years and learned the habit of being careful. This restaurant is a gray restaurant. Gray restaurant? I've heard of a black restaurant, but I've never heard of a gray restaurant. Yin Sheng was baffled. The so-called gray restaurant, frankly speaking, is also a black restaurant. But compared to a black restaurant, a gray restaurant's ability to harm people depends on the person. If we're like hotheads today and pick up the utensils here to eat tonight, something will definitely happen. But if the people in the restaurant find out that we're also veterans, tonight will be safe and sound. Boss Pengyu's words made the other 3 suddenly realize. It seems at this time, bringing Boss Pengyu out was the right choice. Not long later, the shopkeeper came over and personally delivered a table of sumptuous food and wine to the few of them. Sirs, since we're all people of the underworld, then this old man will be frank. In Wu City, there's only one decent restaurant. There are a few clean rooms upstairs. You can stay here. But this old man will also remind you that it's dark outside, and it's not peaceful outside. If you hear any sounds at night, please don't be offended and don't go out. After the shopkeeper finished speaking, he bowed and left. I'm afraid there's something strange about this Wu City. Master, let's eat first. Everyone clearly heard the shopkeeper's words. Tonight, no one goes out. After Boss Pengyu warned, the 4 of them ate some food. Yin Sheng asked for 3 rooms. Boss Pengyu had 1 room, Bo Bo and little Ling Ying had 1 room, and Yin Sheng had 1 room by herself. When night fell, the 4 of them returned to their rooms. After returning to her room, Yin Sheng sat cross-legged and meditated for a moment. Then, she took out the 8-tailed celestial fox's inheritance pillar. This was the 8-tailed inheritance pillar that Yun Sheng had obtained from the ancient seal. Yin Sheng had already studied it for a month. But compared to the 7-tailed inheritance pillar, this inheritance pillar was much harder to study. Yun Sheng placed the inheritance pillar in front of her and slowly sent her consciousness into the inheritance pillar. In the dead of night, Bo Bo and little Ling Ying were not sleepy at all. The 2 little girls opened their eyes wide. Suddenly, they heard a strange sound. That sound seemed like someone was talking, but also seemed like someone was crying. Bo Bo, did you hear anything? Little Ling Ying felt a little scared. She was, after all, a child, so she couldn't help but push Bo Bo. It seems to be coming from the street. Bo Bo also heard a strange sound on the street. Should we go and take a look? Bo Bo urged little Ling Ying. I don't think it's a good idea. The shopkeeper of the restaurant said that we can't go out at night. Little Ying was more obedient. She shook her head, although she was also very curious. What exactly was that strange sound coming from a street? Stupid, we're not going out. We're just going to open the window and take a look, Bobo said as she jumped off the bed and ran towards the window. All right, but we're just going to take a look. We definitely can't go out. Little Ying and Bobo went to the window and carefully pushed it open a crack. Chapter 1283. The streets were pitch black, and only the hazy moonlight shone on them. Wu City was not a large city like Hu City. At night, there was not a single person on the streets, nor were there any illuminating magic arrays. However, that strange sound could still be heard from time to time. Da-da-da, it sounded like the hooves of a beast. Bobo and Little Ying's eyesight was not bad. Especially Bobo, she saw it with a glance. Even though it was a pitch-black street, she saw a black magical beast walking over. That magical beast had pitch-black skin, and only 2 green eyes were shining brightly in the dark night. Bobo was afraid that she could not see it clearly, so she opened the window a little more. Her little head was already poking out. There are people, there are men and women. Little Ying also followed Bobo and climbed up the window. That black magical beast had a very strange appearance. It had bat-like wings and 4 legs. On its back sat a warrior in black armor. Behind that magical beast, there were some women and men. Those young men and women were all in their teens to 20s. Their clothes were thin, and their appearances were either beautiful or handsome. They all looked like people from the Celestial Fox people. However, when these people walked, they were expressionless. Their feet were shackled, and their hair was loose. They followed the magical beast and the warrior through the streets. There were quite a lot of people, about 20 or so. Where are these people going in the middle of the night? Why do they look so strange? Bobo and Little Ying became even more curious. Half of their bodies were already out of the window. At this moment, that black magical beast suddenly let out a strange cry and raised its head. Its pair of strange green eyes immediately caught sight of Bobo and Little Ying, who were lying on the window. Not good. We've been discovered. Bobo and Little Ying were shocked. The two panicked and were about to close the window. However, at this moment, they discovered that they could not move their hands. Not only their hands, their entire bodies seemed to have been immobilized. They could not even make a sound. We're going to die. We're done for. Bobo's eyes were spinning with all her might. She was desperately calling for her master in her heart. However, Yin Sheng, who was in a meditative state, did not hear Bobo's cry for help. 2 little girls? The warrior riding the black magic beast strangely floated in the air. He approached the window and looked at Popo and Little Ying. The 2 girls were still very young, but Popo and Little Ying were very cute. In particular, her hair color and appearance were rarely seen on the continent. Although these 2 girls were a little young, they would definitely be stunning beauties when they grew up. Rongyang would definitely like them if he brought them back. That warrior grabbed Little Ying and Little Bobo with one hand and took them away, leaving only the window of the inn open. Around dawn, Yun Sheng withdrew her spiritual consciousness from the inheritance pillar. She slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. It will probably take a few more days before I can completely comprehend this inheritance pillar. Yun Sheng's eyes flashed with a trace of contemplation. At this time, Boss Peng's panicked voice came from outside the door. Master, are Popo and Little Ying in your room? Boss Peng woke up early in the morning and did not see the 2 little guys. Yin Sheng's heart tightened when she heard this. Those 2 little guys must have caused some trouble. She hurriedly went to Popo and Little Ying's room with Boss Peng. The room was neat and tidy, without any traces of fighting. Only the window was open. Hearing that a guest was missing, the innkeeper hurriedly came up. Ah, guest, how could you be so careless? This old man had already reminded you yesterday that no matter what happened outside in the middle of the night, you should not make a sound. The innkeeper's face was bitter. Innkeeper, what happened last night? Who took the 2 children with me? Yun Sheng asked the innkeeper. The innkeeper stammered and refused to say. Bastard, if you don't say it, I will kill you right now. Boss Peng grabbed the innkeeper. Boss Peng, don't be anxious. Let me do it. Yun Sheng's golden eyes flashed, and the innkeeper felt a pleasant voice flash through his mind. Soon, the innkeeper stood there in a daze, as if he had been hit by Yun Sheng's corpse puppet spell. Innkeeper, I will ask and you will answer. What happened in Wu City? Yun Sheng interrogated. She knew that the innkeeper must know something. Honorable guest, you are new here and do not know the situation here. Yudu is not peaceful, and there are often beast tides. About 2 to 3 years ago, a mysterious power appeared. It calls itself the Beast King and can protect the peace of Yudu. Every time there is a beast tide, the Beast King will help us chase away the devil beasts. When the innkeeper mentioned the beast tide, his face was full of reverence. Yudu was located in the northernmost part of Celestial Fox tribal country. There were many forests and lakes nearby, and there were also many devil beasts. Yudu was poor, and it was difficult to even pay the basic guards of the capital city. After a long time, the city walls fell into disrepair, and the armaments were not complete. Once there was a beast tide, only the common people would be harmed. The appearance of the Beast King gave the common people of Yudu a ray of hope. The Beast King will choose some young and beautiful men and women among the common people and send them to the Beast King to protect the safety of the people. The innkeeper seemed to be full of reverence for the Beast King. When he talked about the Beast King, his eyes were full of sincerity. Beast King? Isn't Yudu the capital city of Celestial Fox tribal country? If Yudu is in trouble, shouldn't it report to Hudu and ask for help? Yin Sheng found it strange. Hudu has long stopped caring about the life and death of Yudu. Even Celestial Fox Saintus hasn't been to Yudu for decades. When the beast tide first happened, there were people who went to Celestial Fox Ancestral Hall to pray, but it was useless. The innkeeper's voice was full of helplessness. He also had family and friends, and they had once trusted Hudu and Celestial Fox Saintus. However, Hudu's lack of concern made people feel bitterly disappointed. Therefore, the common people had no choice but to save themselves. They chose to believe in the so-called Beast King. There was no longer a Celestial Fox Ancestral Hall in Wu City. There was a Beast King Ancestral Hall here. If the common people had any wishes, they would go to the Beast King Ancestral Hall to pray. The Beast King would protect them. According to what you said, the 2 companions that went missing last night were related to the Beast King. Yin Sheng still had some doubts about the Beast King. For a moment, she didn't know whether the Beast King was good or bad. However, if the disappearance of Baby Bo and Little Ling Ying was related to the Beast King, she had to meet the so-called Beast King. Chapter 1284. Most likely, they met the messenger of the Beast King. Wu City is within the borders of Yudu and is responsible for transporting young women from various cities and towns. Every night, different women from different places will be transported to Wu City from other places. These women are under the command of the Beast King. There are 10 great messengers who are responsible for transporting the young women from various places. The messengers all have powerful abilities, and no one can stop the messengers of the beast deity. After the innkeeper finished speaking, Yun Sheng's gaze changed. The innkeeper only felt a shiver run down his spine, and when he regained his senses, she had already left the room. The innkeeper scratched his head and walked down the stairs with a strange expression. Master, something is not right. I have walked around for so long and have not heard of any Beast King. Boss Peng was also very worried about Bo Bo and Little Ing Ying's safety. But now, other than the Beast King, they had no other clues. I have also tried to contact Bo Bo, but I couldn't. She and Ing Ying must have been brought to some special place, and there should be a special barrier nearby to prevent Bo Bo from contacting me. Yin Sheng was a little vexed. She was to blame for only focusing on comprehending the inheritance last night and missed the best opportunity to contact Bo Bo. The only thing we can do now is to ask around the town. I think we can go to the local Beast King temple to take a look and see who exactly the Beast King is. Yin Sheng also agreed with Boss Peng Yu's idea. The two of them immediately asked around and found the Beast King temple within the borders of a city. The Beast King Temple was built on the old site of the Celestial Fox Temple. When Yun Sheng and Boss Pengyu walked into the Beast King Temple, they smelled the fragrance of incense and paper money. In front of them was a very exquisite ancestral hall. Compared to the dilapidated West City, the appearance of this ancestral hall was very abrupt. Inside the Beast King Temple, the windows were clean and the tables were clean. The glazed roof tiles and vermilion-painted walls were a golden statue of the Beast King, sitting majestically in the middle of the Beast King Temple. The statue of the Beast King looked like a deer and a horse. It was covered in scales and had a pair of wings. It looked like some kind of magical beast. There were quite a lot of people in the Beast King Temple. Just as the innkeeper had said, the people in this area all believed in the Beast King. White-haired elders, 3 or 4-year-old children, and some well-dressed local rich people had all brought their families to pay respects to the Beast King. Kneeling beside Yun Sheng was an old man in his 50s. Honorable Lord Beast King, my daughter-in-law hasn't been pregnant for 3 years. I hope that Lord Beast King can bless her and let her give birth to a son or a daughter. The old man rambled on. Yun Sheng narrowed her eyes slightly. She saw a fluorescent light coming out of the old man's body and surging towards the Beast King statue. Yun Sheng was taken aback. The Beast King statue was also a statue of faith. Someone had actually placed such a large statue of faith here and openly obtained the power of faith of the Celestial Fox tribe. Earlier, when she left Hu City, the chief of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qianxiu, had repeatedly told her that the statue of faith was very precious and must be properly preserved. According to Hu Qianxiu, there should be a limited number of statues of faith that could absorb the power of faith in the Celestial Fox tribe. But in the Beast King Temple of West City, there was such a large statue of faith. The chief of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qiansui, would probably vomit blood if he saw it. The power of faith could be considered the most mysterious power in the 8 Desolates continent. No matter where the Beast King came from, it was obviously much more powerful than Yun Sheng had imagined. Other than the old man, the other people were also chanting when they were praying and kowtowing. In the Beast King Temple, fluorescent light would occasionally enter the statue of the Beast King. In a day, this statue of the Beast King could absorb a lot of power of faith. The Beast King had merged with the power of faith. Its strength was not to be underestimated. Master, there is nothing strange nearby. We also didn't find any traces of Baby Bo and Little Ing Ing. Boss Pengyu secretly observed. Why are the two of you not kowtowing when you see the Beast King? The old man who was kowtowing to the Beast King earlier saw the two of them standing in the Beast King Temple without burning incense or kowtowing. He felt that the two of them were very disrespectful. Hearing the old man's words, the other people in the Beast King Temple also stood up. Yes, these two people, how can they be so rude? If they don't kowtow to the Beast King, then get out. Yun Sheng noticed that when these people mentioned the Beast King, their eyes all turned scarlet. They were like gamblers with red eyes. Not only that old man, the others, regardless of gender, old or young, adults or children, all stood up at this time. They surrounded Yun Sheng and Boss Pengyu with an unfriendly face. Their expressions were as if they had been possessed by the devil. Let's leave here first. Yun Sheng was unwilling to fight with these innocent people. She gave a look and left with Boss Pengyu. When Yun Sheng and Boss Pengyu left the Beast King Temple, the eyes of the Beast King statue emitted a strange light. The two of them left the Beast King Temple in a sorry state. Boss Pengyu, don't you think those people look a little strange? They look like they're being controlled by someone. Yun Sheng was puzzled. Those people's trust in the Beast King had reached the point of fanaticism. Compared to her corpse puppet technique, the Beast King's control over those people was even stronger than her corpse puppet technique. This subordinate also saw it. If we had retreated a step later, those people would have already torn us to pieces. Master, this subordinate boldly guesses, could this trip to the north be deliberately arranged by Celestial Fox people? Boss Pengyu guessed. How could an old fox like Hu Qianxiu not know about the existence of the Beast King? He knew that the people in the north were all believers of the Beast King, but he sent Yun Sheng. His intention was already very clear. He clearly wanted to use Yun Sheng's power to wipe out the Beast King's power in this area. What a good Hu Qinxiu, what a scheming old fellow. Let's return to the inn first. Since we didn't find any clues in the area, we can only hope that we can gain something tonight. Yun Sheng immediately decided to return to the inn first and wait for night to fall before making any plans. Bobo and little Ing Ing were muddle-headed as they were brought away from a city by the black demonic beast and the warrior. Along the way, the two of them couldn't speak or move. Even their 5 senses and 6 senses were sealed. They were blindfolded. After an unknown amount of time, they heard the black demonic beast roar. Only then did Bobo and little Ing Ing feel their bodies relax. Someone pushed them from behind, and Bobo and little Ing Ing were forced into some place. When their hands and feet regained their senses, Bobo and little Ing Ing tore off the blindfold. The two of them looked around and discovered that they were locked up in a large room. Chapter 1285. Crap, they'd gotten into trouble again. That was little Ing Ing's and little Ing Ing's first reaction when they opened their eyes. Although this room was very simple, the furniture and decorations inside were all made of top-quality materials. It seemed that they were no longer in Wu City. In the room, other than the two of them, there were many other children. There were both boys and girls among these children, and they were all under the age of 10. Most of them had very delicate and cute appearances. However, they were different from little Ing Ing and little Ing Ing. These children all had lifeless eyes and did not open their mouths to speak. They were like puppets, either standing or sitting in the room. Little Ing Ing even chatted with a little girl beside her for a while, but that girl ignored her. Little Ing Ing looked around and tried to contact Yun Sheng. However, little Ing Ing quickly discovered that when she tried to contact her master, her divine sense would be bounced back. Little Ing Ing felt strange. She crept to the door and pushed it open, only to find that it was bolted shut. Little Ing Ing was certain that there was definitely something outside this room that was blocking little Ing Ing's divine sense. Thinking of this, little Ing Ing's face collapsed and her expression became grave. Little Ing Ing, where exactly is this place? Can we leave this place? When Master finds out that we're not here in the morning, she'll definitely be very angry. Little Ing Ing felt a wave of lingering fear. She was already regretting that she shouldn't have peeked at the situation on the street out of curiosity last night. The children beside her were all like puppets. Other than the fact that they were still breathing, they were all like dead people. We're not in Wu City anymore, and I can't contact my dear master. Although little Ing Ing was young, little Ing Ing knew that the thing that could separate her from her master's divine sense was definitely not an ordinary power. Furthermore, for some unknown reason, she felt that the energy fluctuations here, as well as the black demonic beast and martial artist from earlier, were somewhat familiar to her. However, little Ing Ing could not recall where she had seen such energy fluctuations before. Let's wait first. In a while, there should be more people coming. Little Ing Ing's guess was correct. Little Ing Ing and little Ing Ing waited for about half a day. During this time, someone brought them food. When they heard the word, eat, those children were like animals. They surrounded them and wolfed down the food. Bobo and little Ing Ing pretended to be like the other children and ate some food. In the afternoon, the doors suddenly opened, and a strong fragrance of cosmetics assailed his nostrils. Bobo and little Ing Ing hurriedly stood aside and pretended to be no different from other children. The person who entered the room was a beautiful woman. Her clothes were revealing, and there was a seductive cleavage on her chest. There was an indescribable seduction in her every movement. Bobo, with one look at this kind of woman, you can tell that she is not a good woman. Along with the woman was the black-clothed man that Popo and little Ing Ing had seen earlier. Lord Beast King's emissary. The goods you brought this time are really good. These children are all pink and tender. They are all outstanding maidservants and minor officials. The woman's coquettish eyes wandered around the room, her face full of satisfaction. I'll leave these children to you. In a few days, I'll send another group of people over. The man who was called the Beast King's emissary said in a cold voice. He was not moved by the coquettish woman in front of him. After the man finished speaking, he waved his hand. Bo and little Ing only felt that there was an additional fragrance in the air. Then those children all woke up. Seeing that they were in a strange place, the children could not help but cry. The woman walked in front of those children. She cleared her voice. You all listen clearly. I am Rong Yang, the proprietress of Canvas Moon House. From now on, each and every one of you are my people. I don't care what your background is before you came here. Once you come to Canvas Moon House, you must listen to me. Rong Yang's words made those children cry even harder. Don't cry. Do you know what kind of place Canvas Moon House is? Those who come here are all the most distinguished guests. From tomorrow onwards, you will begin to learn etiquette from me. If there is anyone who doesn't learn well, the only outcome is death. After Rong Yang finished speaking, she laughed. But there was an indescribable coldness in her smile. Bo and little Ing looked at each other. Bo and little Ing temporarily lived in Canvas Moon House. Because of their beautiful appearance, they were slightly better than those children, so they were chosen by Rong Yang to serve her. The two were also clever. After an afternoon, they had a general understanding of Canvas Moon House. Bo quickly found out why she could not contact her master. Because in Canvas Moon House, there was a black talisman everywhere. That talisman formed a mysterious boundary. It was this boundary that prevented Bo and Yun Sheng from contacting each other. Bo knew very little about this kind of talisman. She only knew that when she was in Hudu, Elder Lu had this kind of talisman. As for where it came from, Elder Lu only said that it came from the hands of the great witch doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe. Could it be that Canvas Moon House had something to do with the great witch doctor? Canvas Moon House was a training institution. There was only one kind of people who could enter here, and that was outstanding appearance. Rong Yang said that outside Canvas Moon House, there was another place called Sun House. That place was different from Canvas Moon House. That place only recruited talented people. Canvas Moon House was responsible for training all kinds of outstanding people. They were responsible for serving people in the future. Those people in Sun House were only responsible for assassinations. No matter if it was Canvas Moon House or Sun House, they all belonged to a mysterious existence called Beast King. As for the black-clothed warrior that Bo and little Ing met earlier, his identity was one of the 10 great emissaries of Beast King. But Bo and little Ing did not dare to ask too much. They were afraid that they would attract Rong Yang's suspicion. On the other hand, Yun Sheng and Boss Peng were still in the city, anxiously waiting for news about Bo and little Ing. But out of Yun Sheng's expectation, after Bo and little Ing disappeared, she had been hiding in the guest room of Canvas Moon House for a few days. In the middle of the night, she did not find anything strange, nor did any mysterious forces appear. Could it be that the other party had found something? Yun Sheng was hesitant. The longer she waited, the more worried she was about Bo and little Ing Ying's situation. Especially little Ing Ying's body. There was still a part of the mysterious black talisman's poison. If she waited too long, and Yun Sheng was not by little Ing Ying's side, she was afraid that the poison would take effect. 4 or 5 days passed like this. One day, Yun Sheng's consciousness moved. She suddenly heard the sound of Bo, where are you? Yun Sheng was alert. Dear Master, Bo, I missed you so much. Bo's reaction was very excited. Chapter 1286. Hearing Bo's voice, Yun Sheng breathed a sigh of relief. These days, Yun Sheng had been worried about Bo and little Ing Ying's safety. Bo told Yun Sheng that she and little Ing Ying were in a place called the Moon Embracing Tower. As for the specific location of the Moon Embracing Tower, Bo couldn't tell. She only knew that the Moon Embracing Tower should be on a high mountain because last time, she and little Ing Ying were brought here, and they seemed to have climbed a mountain on the way. Inside the Moon Embracing Tower, there were mysterious black talismans of the great witch doctor everywhere. Bo also searched for several days before she found a place where there were no black talismans, and then she contacted Yin Sheng. Black talismans again? Yin Sheng became vigilant. Bo, you be careful. That black talisman is very strange. You and little Ying don't act rashly. I will find a way to sneak into the moon embracing tower. Yin Sheng knew Bo's temper. This little girl was very mischievous, and she was also a troublemaker. If she really pissed her off, she really didn't know what kind of trouble she would cause. Dearest master, the messenger of the Beast King who captured me and little Ying will be sending another group of people over tonight. You can mix in with them and come over together. Bo told Yin Sheng about what she and little Ying had seen that night. Master, someone is coming. Bo is going to work. Bo said until here, and then she disconnected from Yin Sheng. After that, Yin Sheng wanted to contact Bo again, but there was no news. Little girl, the others are training. What are you doing there? A guard of the moon embracing tower came over. He recognized Bo as the little girl who followed Rongyang. Rongyang asked me to go to the kitchen, but I didn't find the place. Uncle, my sense of direction is not very good. Bo said with a confused face. Bo's sense of direction was not good, but she was not pretending. The kitchen is on your left. The guard casually pointed. Bo hurriedly thanked him and slipped into the kitchen. After a while, Bo returned to Rongyang's room. Just as he walked out of the room, he heard someone crying. Bo was shocked and hurried into the room. She found that little Ying's face was red and there was a palm print on it. Rongyang was angry. Idiot, I asked you to comb my hair, but you were so clumsy. These days, baby Bo and little Ying have been following Rongyang around. Rongyang, this woman, had a seductive and foxy face. It was hard to tell her exact age, but her heart was very vicious. 2 or 3 of the children who were caught with baby Bo and little Ying wanted to sneak out of the moon pavilion that night. After Rongyang came back, those children never appeared in front of them again. Everyone said that Rongyang had killed the 2 children. Where the hell did you go? I asked you to bring some ginseng tea, but I didn't see you for a long time. Rongyang stared at Bo. These 2 little girls were selected by her. They were relatively clever, but she didn't know that they were also 2 dull girls. Bo, I accidentally got lost. Boss, don't be angry. You will get old easily if you get angry. Bo pulled little Ying and said sweetly, Well, today we have a distinguished guest. You 2 go back to the room and tidy up. Don't make any mistakes. Rongyang glanced at Bo's pink and tender face and sneered. Bo and little Ying quickly went down. Bo touched little Ying's face and looked annoyed. Bo, I'm fine. I did it on purpose. I just found my luggage. Little Ying touched her cheek and blinked. When little Ying and Bo were caught, little Ying had a few bottles of medicine in her arms. Unfortunately, they were all taken away at that time. After those people took away the medicine, they gave it to Rongyang. Rongyang didn't understand medicine, so she just put away those pills and threw them aside. Those pills were prepared by Yin Sheng in order to protect little Ying from any danger. Among them, there was also some mandala lotus. Master said that it was a strong anesthetic. Just a little bit of it could drug a large magical beast. Little Ying saw that the Canvas Moon restaurant was heavily guarded. Earlier, she learned from the mistakes of those children who escaped, so she secretly looked for her medicine. Finally, she found that Rongyang kept the medicine in a secret room in the room. Hey, little Ying, I also have good news. My dear master has been contacted. She should come to the Canvas Moon restaurant to save us in a few days. However, don't you want to give her a surprise? She rolled her eyes. Bo, do you want to? Little Ying swallowed her saliva. In fact, she also hated that bad woman Rongyang. Master said that a woman's face was the most precious. That damn Rongyang dared to hit her. Little Ying made up her mind to take revenge. I just went to the kitchen and found a few flints and some oil in there. Little Ying giggled, and the 2 little brats immediately started to whisper to each other. That night, Rongyang put on heavy makeup and called Bo and little Ying into the room to receive them. When they entered the room, they found that there were already several good-looking boys and girls in the room. Some of these children had entered the moon embracing brothel with little Ying, and they were all the most outstanding-looking ones. They were afraid of Rong Yang. They didn't know why Rong Yang called them in. In the room, in addition to Rong Yang, there was also a middle-aged man. Rong Yang, the good stuff, he said. Is it ready? The man was wearing a mask. His pair of wretched eyes swept over the children. When he saw Bo Bo, his eyes suddenly lit up. What a tender little girl. Her skin was soft and tender. The rarest thing about her was that her hair and eyes were a rare shade of pink. This middle-aged man had a perverted hobby, which was to collect all kinds of good-looking children for him to play with. How is it? Not bad, right? These little guys are all young. The oldest is only 8 years old, and the youngest is only 6 years old. Rong Yang looked at the middle-aged man's appearance and knew that he was very satisfied with this batch of goods. Name a price. The middle-aged man understood tacitly. A statue of faith. Rong Yang's words made the middle-aged man frown. A statue? Rong Yang, your appetite is too big. You know that thing is a taboo in the god realm. It is strictly forbidden to let it flow into the human realm. You have already gotten 10 of them. If you want 3 more, if it is discovered, everyone will have to bear the consequences. God realm? Human realm? Forbidden thing? As soon as Bo Bo heard these words, he immediately became alert. She secretly looked at the middle-aged man and found that although this person was disguised, there was a very weak fluctuation of divine power around him. This middle-aged man was actually a god. Chapter 12, 87. When she found the divine power, Bo Bo's heart beat violently a few times. She originally thought that the Moon Pavilion was just an illegal organization set up by some Bakr orcs, but she didn't expect that the Moon Pavilion actually entertained guests from the god realm. No wonder these people had always been so mysterious. Combined with the black talismans she saw earlier, what was the origin of the Moon Pavilion? Rong Yang and the middle-aged man on the side didn't know anything. Bo Bo was eavesdropping. Master, don't worry, the god realm is far away from here. How can there be a god so free to care about the human world? As for the so-called manager of the human world, the previous cowardly god, I don't know where he went. The human world will soon be my master's world. Don't you trust my master? Rong Yang's words were like a lotus, persuading from the side. Rong Yang's words also touched the heart of the unknown god. The human world was now a no-man's land. No god had the mind to care about the trivial matters here. It was also because of this situation that he and some gods with special hobbies secretly entered the human world. After all, the human world was different from the god realm. There were not so many rules. They could casually torture a few people to death. When he thought of the taste of the human world's children, the god couldn't help but waver. Anyway, he had already given the Moon Pavilion several statues of faith. What was one more? Rong Yang on the side was also secretly looking at the god's reaction. Looking at him, he was already moved by her words. Rong Yang secretly said in her heart, these so-called gods of the god realm seem to be high and mighty, but to put it bluntly, they are not sanctimonious. They can't do dirty things in the god realm, so they secretly come to the human world to do it. When they return to the god realm, they will still be high and mighty gods. Rong Yang's master grasped this point and built the Moon Pavilion. It's settled. The 2 little girls and the boy, I will take them with me. The god in the mask said, looking at Bo Bo with evil intentions. His eyes made Bo Bo suddenly have a bad feeling in her heart. Bo Bo was young, but she was not stupid. After listening for a while, she already understood that these people were carrying out dirty and shameful transactions. That damned Rong Yang, that damn moon-embracing house, they actually used a broken statue to sell her off. She was a universe god in the mortal world, but she was betrayed by these people. Bobo was furious. In her heart, it was as if there was a crazy female T-Rex, crazily clamoring. Originally, she had wanted to poison this group of people and wait for her master to come and deal with them. But now Bobo changed her mind. When it came to taking revenge, it was better to do it personally. Let's do as you say. As usual, I'll order my disciple Qingsheng to send the idol of faith to the Zhaori Pavilion. Just like before, we'll hand over the thing and exchange the person with the other. The masked god finally couldn't stand Rong Yang's persuasion. "What are you all still standing there for? Come forward and pour wine for his excellency." Rong Yang saw that the deal was done. Her face glowed, and her mood improved a lot. However, using 3 dispensable children in exchange for a statue of faith was a great thing. You know, a statue of faith was not something that could be obtained so easily. The more statues of faith, the more power of faith could be obtained for his excellency. These so-called gods of the divine world were usually conceited, but in fact they were all idiots. Although the human race in the mortal world was like an ant, they had a large number of people. It was much easier to obtain their power of faith than in the divine world. They actually ignored the existence of the mortal world. Bobo took the initiative to step forward and poured wine for the two. Little Ying watched nervously from the side. Knowing that Rong Yang and the masked god drank the wine in one gulp, Bobo and little Ying breathed a sigh of relief. After a while, Rong Yang and the masked god's body swayed. Both of them couldn't support themselves, and with a plop, they fainted. The boy on the side obviously didn't know what had happened. He subconsciously wanted to shout, but Bobo rushed forward and knocked him unconscious. "Bobo, what should we do now?" After little Ying followed Yin Sheng and Bobo, her courage grew a lot, but after all, this was the first time she experienced such a thing. Her hands and feet were still cold. "Did you follow my instructions and put the mandala lotus poison in the kitchen?" Bobo looked at the unconscious masked god and Rong Yang. The anesthetic refined by her dear master was really powerful. Even the gods were numbed and fainted. "Yes, in a big bag." Little Ying didn't know what Bobo was going to do next. Bobo stepped forward and took off the mask of the masked god. "It's actually him?" After Bobo saw the face of the masked god, her face turned pale. "Bobo, do you know him?" Little Ying looked at the man with disgust. She didn't know whether he was a god or not. She only knew that this masked man and Rong Yang were in cahoots and had killed many children of the embracing moon tower. These people were all bad people. "This person is one of the sovereigns under my mother. He is good at sculpting and has made many outstanding sculptures. I didn't expect that he would collude with the embracing moon tower and sell the things of the god realm to the human realm." Bobo's little head suddenly calmed down a lot. Recently, it seemed that a lot of unusual things had happened. She tried to contact the son of the underworld, but she couldn't get in touch with it. Also, after she fell to the human realm, her mother god didn't come to find her. What was even more strange was that Rong Yang just said that soon, the human realm would be her master's territory. Too many questions made Bobo's mood very irritable. She felt as if she was involved in a big conspiracy. Her master hadn't come yet. She had to rely on herself and little Ying to find the answer. A bowl of cold water was poured on Rong Yang's face. Rong Yang shuddered. When she woke up, she found that she had been tied up. She was shocked. Looking around, she found that the master god was also tied up. The 2 little girls who had been serving her, Bobo and little Ying, were standing in front of her. "You 2 damn girls, did you eat the guts of a leopard? You actually dared to drug us." Rong Yang's beautiful face twisted, full of malevolence. Slap! A slap, loud and clear, stunned Rong Yang. "Damn you!" Before Rong Yang finished cursing, another slap came. "Shut up, you vicious woman. I'm slapping you on behalf of little Ying. You hit her, you hurt us." Bobo put her hands on her hips, looking like a newborn calf who was not afraid of tiger. She slapped Rong Yang several times in a row. Bobo's strength was not to be underestimated. With one slap, a man who practiced martial arts would be crippled, let alone Rong Yang. After a few slaps, Rong Yang's teeth were all broken by Bobo. Chapter 1288. Rong Yang's face had been beaten out of shape. Her mouth was full of teeth and blood. When she opened her mouth to speak, she spat out a few teeth. "You've got guts. Guards, where the hell are they?" Rong Yang was so angry that she fainted. She shouted a few times and found that there was no sound outside. "Don't shout. Your people have fainted." Little Ying looked at Bobo, who was so fast, and felt very happy. Rong Yang was speechless. She didn't expect that she, who had been running rampant in the Bahuang continent for so long, would fall into the hands of two little girls. What was more hateful was that the two little girls had used some unknown method to drug the entire Lanyu house. She thought that she had found two money trees, who knew that they were two little jinxes. Rong Yang's heart was full of bitterness at this moment. You dare to sell the two of us for the price of a belief statue. Are you blind? The more Bobo thought about it, the angrier she became. She raised her fist and punched Rong Yang's eyes twice. Two little ladies, Rong Yang also has eyes but can't see. Please be merciful. Rong Yang also knew how to read the situation. She looked at the two people and knew that Bobo was the one who made the decision. So she begged Bobo, if you want me to be merciful, tell me, who is the mastermind behind you? Bobo grabbed Rong Yang and questioned her. Little lady, Rong Yang doesn't know what you're talking about. What mastermind behind the scenes? The owner of Lanyu House is me. Rong Yang rolled her eyes and refused to admit it. Little Ying, where is your dagger with the decaying poison? Bobo's eyes darkened. In little Ying's self-defense luggage, there was a small dagger. The dagger looked ordinary, but it had been refined by Yunsheng with rotting corpse poison. The poison had already seeped deep into the dagger. As long as there was a cut, the poison in the dagger would seep into the wound, causing the person's skin to split open. After Bo asked for the dagger, she calmly dragged in a tall guard from outside the door. She raised the dagger and made a small cut on the guard's body. The moment the blood touched the dagger, the guard's flesh immediately rotted. In less than a quarter of an hour, the guard had turned into a puddle of corpse water. The stench was unbearable. Rong Yang's face immediately changed. In her eyes, the two little Lolas in front of her had instantly become two demons. Rong Yang thought that since baby Bo and little Ying were still young, as long as she clenched her teeth and refused to admit it, everything would be fine. But Rong Yang never thought that baby Bo and little Ying were living with Yunsheng. How could a pet beast and disciple trained by someone like Yunsheng be so easily bullied? The two little girls had also experienced the tribulations of life and death. This time, they had made a mess, so they were thinking of ways to make up for their mistakes. Bo raised the dagger and waved it in front of Rong Yang. What do you think? If I cut you a few times, you'll turn into a puddle of corpse water. Be obedient and tell me who the mastermind is. Otherwise, I'll raise my hand and slash down, and your beautiful face will suffer. As Bobo spoke, she even winked mischievously. Her pink eyes flickered with an evil glint. From little Ying's point of view, Bobo looked like a miniature version of her master right now. Don't come closer. I'll tell you everything. Rong Yang's face turned pale with fright. Rong Yang was so frightened that she blurted out everything she knew. The lunar pavilion was built by His Majesty, the Beast King. He used the lunar pavilion to bribe many over-gods of the celestial realm. There are even a few sovereigns amongst them. We even have quite a bit of dirt on them. Rong Yang was originally an ordinary human. Because of her beautiful appearance, she was among the first batch of people to be abducted into the lunar pavilion. Unlike the others, Rong Yang didn't feel sorry for herself. She saw the lunar pavilion as an opportunity. She was good at acting and flattering. Soon, she attracted the attention of her superiors. Finally, she was promoted to run the lunar pavilion. My two great aunts, that's all I know. After Rong Yang finished speaking, she begged Bobo to let her go. Who is the Beast King? What Bobo really wanted to know was the identity of the Beast King. I don't know. The Beast King is very mysterious. I only know that his identity is very honorable. Usually when I come to the lunar pavilion, he doesn't show up. It's always his Beast King messengers who come and talk to me. Rong Yang was telling the truth this time. Although she was the person in charge of the lunar pavilion, she was still just a pawn. She didn't have the chance to meet the Beast King. However, that His Majesty should know the identity of the Beast King. In order to survive, Rong Yang pointed at the unconscious god. Little Ying, wake him up. Bobo's little face was tense. The masked god was splashed with cold water and slowly woke up. He found that the mask on his face had been removed and immediately became furious. Rong Yang, how dare you take off my mask? The Master God had come to the human realm in secret all this time. And I, Jiao, you're the one who has the guts. You dare to do such a despicable thing in the mortal realm behind the back of the supreme gods. A somewhat childish voice startled the masked Master God. When he heard the other party accurately call out his name, and Jiao was dumbfounded. He didn't expect to meet an acquaintance in a place like the Lunar Pavilion. And Jiao looked over and saw two little people standing in front of him. One of them was glaring at him. Pink hair, pink eyes. Wasn't this the little girl he had taken a fancy to earlier? As for Rong Yang, she was already pale with fright. She was tied up and thrown aside. Lord and it has nothing to do with me this time. I don't know where these two ladies came from. It was also the first time Rong Yang heard Jiao's real name and saw his real face. Rong Yang's heart was filled with regret. Judging from the tone of the little lady, she was clearly a god too. She had almost sold out a god. Who are you? How do you recognize me? And Jiao searched his memory. But he couldn't remember where he had seen Bo. Who am I? That's a good question. Just now, didn't you say that I'm a good-for-nothing? Bo raised her voice and moved her little face closer to Jiao. It's you. You are Bo. Jiao's expression suddenly changed. He looked at Bo again. Indeed, the divine egg that had been following Supreme God for directions in the early years was pink. But then, Jiao's expression changed again. His face was full of arrogance. Bo, if you know what's good for you, let me go quickly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. You are now just an abandoned god. Chapter 1289. What did you say? Who's the abandoned god? Bo's face scrunched up. Hee. Bo, do you think you're still the most favored master god of Four Directions? Dream on. You've been abandoned by the god realm. Four Directions and the others have already chosen a new candidate for the human world's world god. You're now an abandoned god. No one wants you. You're trash, a loser that no one wants. And Jiao laughed at her misfortune. When Bo was in the god realm, she was very favored because she was protected by Four Directions and Ming-Ri. However, her divine power was not strong, and she had a strange appearance. The other master gods under Four Directions would take the opportunity to bully her. And Jiao had been jealous of Bo for a long time, but he was very sinister and never showed it on the surface. Now that Bo had become an abandoned god and completely lost her status, and Jiao unscrupulously revealed his true colors and took the opportunity to attack her. Not only that, and Jiao also secretly moved his hands and feet and found that the toxicity of the poison in his body was decreasing bit by bit. Although Bo was an abandoned god, she had seen a side of Jiao that no one knew. Jiao was also looking for an opportunity to kill her. After Bo heard the news, it was like a bolt from the blue. Her beautiful eyes were covered with a layer of mist. Abandonment of the gods, this word sounded so harsh. Bo did not want to believe it, but she thought about the series of things that had happened recently. After she contacted Ming-Ri did not respond to her. It turned out that it was not that Ming-Ri was not in the underworld, but that he did not want to see her. He had long known that Bo was abandoned by the god realm because she was too useless. Even Ming-Ri looked down on her. He did not want to contact her anymore. Mother God did not want her anymore. Bo did not have any relatives in this world. For so many years, she was alone. When she was still an egg, she was ignorant and did not care about happiness and sadness. However, after she came out of the beast language ring, especially after she was with Yin Sheng, she slowly learned to think like a human. She once thought that no matter how useless she was, at least there was still Mother God and Ming-Ri. However, it turned out that all of this was just her imagination. Bo felt completely disheartened. She couldn't even hear what Jiao was saying. Although little Ying didn't understand what Bo and Jiao were talking about, her heart couldn't help but clench when she saw that Bo had quieted down and looked like she was about to cry. Nonsense. No one will want kiss. Bo is a very important person to Master and me. Even if someone else doesn't want her, Master and I will never leave Bo. Little Ing Ying's little face puffed up with anger. She mustered up her courage and rushed in front of Nai Jiao. That's right, there was also his dear master and little Ing Ying. Bo's head, which had been hanging low, suddenly lifted up. In her mind, the familiar face of her master and the little friends in the beast language ring appeared. However, even if the god realm didn't want her anymore, she still had a master. Bo wiped the corner of her eyes. Her heart was very painful, but when she thought that she was not alone, her heart felt a lot of comfort. And Jiao, I almost fell for your trick. Tell me, who is the real owner of the moon-embracing tower? Bo's pink eyes turned dark red. Because Jiao had a god body, the effect of the mandala lotus's poison on his body was much weaker than normal people. In another 15 minutes, his hands and feet would return to normal. Bo, what are you talking about? I am only a normal customer of the moon-embracing tower. How would I know who the owner is? Jiao was very cunning. He wanted to stall for time. As long as 15 minutes passed, he would be able to catch the two damn brats. After he killed the two brats, who in a mortal realm wouldn't know that he had been to the mortal realm. Jiao, don't think that I'm still the ignorant Bo from before. Let me ask you, is the owner of the moon-embracing tower the new world deity of the mortal realm that was chosen by the god realm to replace me? Bo asked sternly. Jiao was startled. He didn't think that Bo had guessed correctly. Looking at your appearance, I guessed correctly. However, there is one thing you're wrong about. He is not considered a world deity of the mortal realm. The world deity seal is still with me. As long as I don't hand over the world deity's seal, he is not a world deity. Bo's little head suddenly became clear. Haha, Bo, you're not too stupid. That's right, the new world deity hasn't really taken office yet. But with his and his tribe's strength, it is only a matter of time before he becomes a world deity. As for the world deity's seal, don't forget that as long as that lord has enough power of belief from the mortal realm, he can use the power of belief to refine a new world deity seal. Jiao had already started to use the statues of belief in the god realm in the mortal realm. That person, who is he? Bo's little face was cold. It is useless for you to force me. Even if you know his identity, you can't provoke him. To tell you the truth, if I were you, I would obediently leave the mortal realm and hide in the underworld. Otherwise, a trash like you who abandoned your divine body will only become a delicious cake in the eyes of other clans wherever you go. Jiao sneered. Thank you for telling me so many things. Bo's mouth held a hint of a smile. That smile fell into Jiao's eyes, and it was somewhat sinister. You? What do you want to do? Jiao struggled, but the effect of the medicine had not dissipated. No matter how he struggled, his limbs were still weak. Jiao, you have not stayed in the mortal realm long enough. There is a saying that you must have not heard. If you cut the grass without removing the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. I have seen your scandal, so you will not let me go. So in order to keep the secret between us, there is only one way. Either you die, or I die. Bo waved her little hand, and two sides as thin as cicada's wings appeared with two buzzing sounds. The two sides slowly turned from pink to blood red. Bo's pink eyes were also changing little by little. You want to kill me? You? How dare you? You are killing a god, and you will be punished by the gods. Jiao felt traces of cold air coming from the bottom of his feet. He had never thought that the trash Bo, who did not even dare to kill an ant in the god realm, would have the guts to kill him. No, it was impossible. He had a divine body. A trash like Bo could not possibly kill him. Killing a god? Jiao, what you have done in the mortal realm has long violated the rules of the mortal realm. Don't forget, as long as the new world's god has not ascended the throne, I, Bo, am the god of the mortal realm. Your life is mine. Bo pursed her pink lips, and the blood sides in her hands were like two blood butterflies spreading their wings. Puff, blood sprayed out. Chapter 1290. Lightning flashed in the sky. Bobo's little body stood straight. Her beautiful and delicate little face was expressionless. At that moment, Bobo looked like the sun of the underworld. She was no longer the carefree Bobo of the human world, but a Rakshasa from the underworld. Jiao's head rolled on the ground. His body had completely lost its life. After killing Jiao, the two blood sides whistled and returned to Bobo's side. Little Ying and Rong Yang, who were on the side, were frightened by this scene. Little Ying stared at Bobo with her eyes wide open. Rong Yang's body was trembling even more. Oh my God, this little girl killed the master god of the god world. Bobo, are you okay? Little Ying gathered her courage and walked forward. I'm fine, little Ying. It's almost time. Wake up those innocent children, and then we'll set fire to the Canvas Moon building. Bobo's eyes flashed. Then what about these people? Little Ying looked at Rong Yang. These people are all bad people. If you show mercy to bad people, countless good people will suffer in the future. Kill them. Don't leave anyone alive. Bobo's tone was no longer childish. In her eyes, there was only determination and decisiveness. When Rong Yang heard this, she was so scared that she collapsed on the ground. Bobo and little Ying immediately looked for those innocent children in the Canvas Moon building. After waking the children up one by one, they poured all the oil in the kitchen to every corner of the building. As soon as the oil touched the fire, it immediately rose high. The Canvas Moon building was filled with fire. Bobo and little Ying stood in front of the blazing Canvas Moon building. Behind them, those children were trembling in fear. None of them dared to make a sound. Under the contrast of the fire, the sky completely turned into a blood-red color. A red lightning, like an angry blood dragon, broke through the sky. The whole sky seemed to be torn into two halves. Heavy rain poured down like a torrential downpour. This sudden rainstorm had obstructed the footsteps of the group from Wu City. Stop! The Beast King's messenger and the unknown black demonic beast were forced to stop by the heavy rain. They entered the largest restaurant in Wu City. At this time, it was already around midnight. The shopkeeper, who was still sleepy, crawled out of his bed. When he saw the messenger of the Beast King and the magical beast, he was so scared that he almost knelt down. Lord Envoy, what orders do you have? Prepare food and wine, as well as clean clothes. Can't you see that everyone is drenched? This damned weather. The Beast King's emissary roared angrily. Behind the Beast King's emissary were a dozen women. The women were also drenched by the rain. Their faces were pale, and they looked extremely weak. These women were all the envoys of the Beast King. They were beauties that had been collected from numerous villages and towns near Yudu. If they were to be tormented, the losses would outweigh the gains. The shopkeeper didn't dare to say no. After a while, the wine was ready and the dishes were ready. It was still raining heavily outside. The restaurant was completely silent. At this moment, a woman's body swayed and fell to the ground with a plop. The women around her were all shocked. What's going on? The Spirit King's messenger went forward to check. He saw that the woman's eyes were tightly shut. Her glabella was black, and there was a black wound on her calf. The blood that flowed out of the wound was black. Lord, we don't know what happened. When we entered the inn just now, Xiao Yu said that she was accidentally pricked by a protruding rock on the ground. She didn't pay much attention to it. Who knew that in such a short time, she would become like this? The woman who fainted on the ground was called Xiao Yu. The women who were with her all had terrified looks on their faces. The Beast King's emissary looked at the wound and saw that it was bleeding nonstop. Moreover, the poison was showing signs of spreading to other places. At this time, in the middle of the night, where could they find a doctor? Shopkeeper, go and wake up everyone in the restaurant. See if there's a doctor. The Beast King's emissary roared angrily, scaring the shopkeeper. He could only curse his bad luck in his heart. Of all places to be poisoned, why did he have to be poisoned in his restaurant? The shopkeeper reluctantly went upstairs and woke up the sleeping guests one by one. Lord Beast King, this woman said that she's a doctor. The shopkeeper wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. The Beast King's emissary looked at the person. She was plain-looking and had a sallow complexion. She looked like a patient and was carrying something that looked like a medical kit. "You're a doctor?" The Beast King's emissary still didn't trust the person. "I'm a doctor. This lady seems to have an infected wound and needs immediate treatment." The female doctor looked young and was very calm. Facing the ferocious Beast King's emissary, she didn't panic. The Beast King's emissary looked at the woman carefully and found that there was no particularly obvious magic fluctuation on her body. She also didn't have any fighting chi. He thought that she was just an ordinary doctor. There were no other doctors at the moment, so he could only let her go forward and check. After the female doctor went forward, she took out a needle bag and a very strange-shaped knife from her medical kit. She used the strange knife to make a small incision on the woman's wound and let her blood out. After the black blood was drained, everyone only saw a blur before their eyes. There were a few more needles in the female doctor's hand. She quickly pricked the woman's wound a few times with the needles, and the wound that was originally bleeding stopped immediately. Finally, the female doctor just smeared some medicine on the woman's wound, and a new layer of flesh quickly grew on the woman's wound. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't be able to tell that she had been injured earlier. The entire treatment process took no more than a quarter of an hour. Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't expect that this plain-looking female doctor would have such brilliant medical skills. The Beast King's emissary's earlier doubts were all gone. Seeing that the female doctor's medical skills were so brilliant, the Beast King's emissary couldn't help but want to recruit her. "What's your name? Why haven't I seen such medical skills before?" "My name is Yun Sheng. I'm an ordinary traveling doctor on the mainland. My medical skills aren't that great. I learned medicine under a reclusive old witch." Yun Sheng, who used the disguise spell to change her appearance, had a calm expression on her face. "I see. I see that your medical skills are not bad. Are you interested in joining the Beast King's emissary?" The Beast King's emissary believed that there weren't many people on this mainland who would reject the Beast King's invitation. As the Beast King's emissary expected, the female doctor showed a respectful expression after hearing the Beast King's name and straightforwardly accepted his invitation. Although the Beast King's emissary accepted Yun Sheng, he was a very suspicious person. Before he set off, he called Yun Sheng over. Chapter 1291. Although this Yun Sheng did not have any obvious fluctuation of battle energy or magic power, the messenger of the Beast King did not dare to let his guard down. After all, the Beast King's influence was still very limited. If he accidentally gave himself away, it was very likely that it would affect the Beast King's overall plan, and the person who spoiled the Beast King's great plan would die without a doubt. Those who join the Beast King's subordinates have to first undergo the test of the mythical Beast Ray. With that, the messenger of the Beast King waved his hand, and the magical beast that had been following the team all this time walked out. When she saw that magical beast, the look in Yun Sheng's eyes changed slightly. Yun Sheng was an outstanding summoner. She had seen countless magical beasts, but this magical beast in front of her gave her a very special feeling. In the beast language ring, the summoning hand that had not moved for a long time moved strangely, as if warning this magical beast that there was some danger. Based on her experience, this was not an ordinary magical beast. This was an auspicious mythical beast, which meant that this so-called Beast King subordinate was actually a mythical beast. Looking at its level, she was afraid that it was only slightly inferior to the vermilion bird, but slightly stronger than the current totem mythical beast vermilion bird. "Yun Sheng, you can't let your guard down. What was the origin of that Beast King? Why would there be an auspicious mythical beast under his command?" Yun Sheng's doubts grew, but her expression did not change at all. This auspicious mythical beast should be the real leader of this team. In terms of real strength, the so-called messenger of the Beast King was probably below this auspicious mythical beast. That auspicious mythical beast walked to Yun Sheng, and its very special eyes emitted a dazzling green light. When Yun Sheng's eyes stared into the auspicious mythical beast's eyes, she felt that she had lost control of her body all of a sudden, and she could not even make sound. It seemed that this auspicious mythical beast was also the reason why Bobo and the others were quietly taken away that day. Although Yunsheng could not move, she did not panic too much. Vermilion bird, do you know the origin of this auspicious mythical beast? Yunsheng communicated with the vermilion bird totem on the Shinnong medical bracelet. That is a dream otter, an auspicious mythical beast in the god realm. This kind of mythical beast is not a real mythical beast, but its dream technique is very powerful. It can control people unknowingly. However, compared to the illusion technique of the celestial fox tribe, the dream otter's dream technique is nothing. The vermilion bird totem was also very strange. Why would the auspicious mythical beast appear in the human world? Is there any way to contract with this mythical beast? Cloud Monk asked. You want to? The Rue mythological beast is not like ordinary magical beasts. It cannot be contracted with blood. The vermilion bird totem explained. The vermilion bird totem. The vermilion bird totem. It was obviously impossible for other people to contract with the auspicious mythical beast, but Yunsheng was different. She was a powerful summoner at the level of the Emperor Zhao in red. Moreover, she had the corpse puppet technique and the golden puppet pupil. It was not impossible for her to contract with the auspicious mythical beast. Yunsheng understood in her heart, and the corner of her mouth revealed an imperceptible smile. Obviously, the Beast King's messenger wanted to use this auspicious mythical beast to control Yunsheng. In Yunsheng, the Beast King's messenger used the auspicious mythical beast to successfully control many people. Among them, there was no lack of powerful magicians and warriors. Those people, without exception, were all tamed by the Dream Otter. However, this time, the Beast King and his auspicious mythical beast kicked a wall. Auspicious mythical beast, right? It seemed to be very proficient in the art of dream bewitchment, but among all the magical beasts, the Celestial Fox clan was the most proficient in hypnotism, especially Yunsheng, who was proficient in the corpse puppet technique and the golden puppet pupil, the seven-tailed celestial fox. In the mainland, other than the eight-tailed celestial fox, there was probably no other person or magical beast that was stronger than Yunsheng in terms of hypnotism. The golden pupils met the dark green pupils of the auspicious mythical beast. A strange look appeared in the auspicious mythical beast's eyes. It seemed to have sensed that there was something wrong with the person in front of it. However, when it let out a warning sound, it felt a buzzing sound in its brain. A mysterious and powerful voice had quickly occupied its consciousness. Yunsheng's consciousness quickly invaded the auspicious mythical beast's consciousness. Its Dharma soul appeared in front of Yunsheng. In the Dharma soul, which was like a cloud of star fog, Yunsheng's consciousness was all-pervasive. Soon, she discovered that there was a green brand in the auspicious mythical beast's Dharma soul. Yunsheng did not say a word. She gathered the power of her consciousness and attacked that green brand. The auspicious mythical beast wanted to resist, but it was useless. Its eyes were blank at first and slowly became docile. All of this, in the eyes of outsiders, was silent. No one even noticed the changes in the auspicious mythical beast in Yunsheng. If the Beast King's messenger knew that because of his carelessness, he had lost an auspicious mythical beast, who knew how angry he would be. Without anyone noticing, Yunsheng had made a contract with the auspicious mythical beast. She wiped the sweat from her forehead. The green light in the auspicious mythical beast's eyes faded. It looked as if nothing had happened and growled a few words at the Beast King's messenger. It seemed that there was nothing wrong with that woman. Seeing this, the Beast King's messenger was relieved. At this time, the sky was already bright, and the rain outside had stopped. The Beast King's messenger waved his hand. Yunsheng and the captured women of the Celestial Fox tribe followed the Beast King's messenger and set off. Above the light blue sky, the blonde elf queen and Boss Pengyu stood side by side. It seems that Master's plan was very successful. She has successfully sneaked in. Boss Pengyu's face was full of admiration. He had always thought that Yunsheng was just a celestial fox with a noble bloodline. He did not expect that she had such a powerful companion hidden by her side. Take the elf queen beside him, for example. She actually knew how to call the wind and summon the rain. The sudden heavy rain last night was a trick played by the elf queen. After Yunsheng got the news from Bobo, she also thought about how to sneak into the Beast King's messenger's team. After discussing with Boss Pengyu, she deliberately created the rain so that the Beast King's messenger would have no choice but to stop when they reached Wa City. As for Boss Pengyu, he was lying in ambush in the dark. When everyone was unprepared, he injured a woman. The two of them worked together and successfully deceived the Beast King's messenger. Let's tail them, but don't get too close to avoid being discovered. The Elf Queen nodded. She and Boss Pengyu, one in front and one behind, tailed the Beast King's messenger's team in the sky. Chapter 1292. In the sky, the Elf Queen and Boss Pengyu followed closely. On the ground, Yunsheng's heart was still worried. She had sneaked in. She didn't know how long it would take to get to the Moon Pavilion. She hoped that Baby Bo and Little Ying could handle it. Because of the trap set up yesterday, Yunsheng was delayed for a night. Following the team, Yunsheng did not rush to contact Baby Bo. But along the way, Yunsheng happened to be following the newly contracted dream otter and communicated with it. Yunsheng originally thought that after contracting the dream otter, she would be able to find the mastermind behind the Moon Canvas restaurant. However, after contracting the dream otter, Yunsheng discovered that the Beast King behind the dream otter was very cautious. After Yunsheng erased Dream Otter's spiritual contract mark, Dream Otter could not explain the true identity of the Beast King. But one thing was certain, the Beast King was just a code name. His true identity was a god in the god realm. When Yunsheng was in the underworld, she had heard Ming-Ri say that other than the respective gods, no other gods were allowed to appear in the human realm and the underworld. Now that it was confirmed that there was a god-level character in the Ba Huang continent, and this person was using illegal means to collect the power of faith, this matter must be treated carefully. After a day and a night, around dawn, Yunsheng and others arrived at the foot of a mountain. The Sun Pavilion is in front. Everyone follow me up the mountain. The words of the Beast King's messenger surprised Yunsheng. She did not go directly to the Moon Pavilion, but was taken to a place called the Sun Pavilion. It turned out that the stronghold of the Beast King in the human realm was different. Those men and women with outstanding looks would be sent to the Moon Pavilion managed by Rong Yang, while those like Yunsheng, who were not outstanding in appearance but had special skills, would be sent to the Sun Pavilion. Earlier, the Beast King's messenger had planned to send most of them directly to the Moon Pavilion, but because of the agreement between Rong Yang and Ni Yijiao would send a statue of faith to the Sun Pavilion in a few days. To be on the safe side, the messenger of the Beast King decided to go to the Sun Calling Pavilion to welcome the statue of faith first. Yunsheng naturally didn't know the whole story. She could only follow him up the mountain. The Sun Beckoning Pavilion was built on top of a tall mountain. It was located in the east of the 8 wastelands and was immersed in the sea of clouds and strange rocks all year round. There is also a large number of ferocious magical beasts residing in the mountains. Usually, if someone accidentally entered the mountains, there was an 80 to 90% chance that they would not return. Yunsheng followed the Beast King's messenger up the mountain, all the way until they reached a precipitous cliff where a majestic pavilion appeared. Mythical Beast Rui, take these people down first. The messenger of the Beast King looked at 1 hour with an anxious expression. Yunsheng and the other women were escorted away. After everyone left, the Beast King's messenger rose into the air and flew towards a certain place in the sea of clouds. No one knew that there was a magic array hidden in this sea of clouds that never dispersed all year round. This magic array was also the only exit between the realm of the gods and the 8 wastelands. The sea of clouds was filled with clouds and mist. The Beast King's messenger found a colorful cloud with a special color. He chanted, and that colorful cloud emitted a colorful golden light. Under the illumination of the golden light, the sea of clouds and the surroundings surged like a tidal wave. The sea of clouds kept gathering together and formed a cloud vortex. In the vortex, a treasure ship appeared. The ship was exquisitely carved and looked extraordinary. There was a silk banner fluttering at the bow of the ship. On the banner, there was the word "I." That was the ship of one of the gods of the realm of the gods, Diao. There was also a handsome male servant standing at the bow of the ship. Looking at his delicate features and good constitution, one could tell at a glance that he was from the realm of the gods. This servant was Diao's eldest disciple, Qing Cheng. He received a message from his master to send a statue of faith over. It was said that it would be delivered yesterday morning, but the Beast King's messenger was still not there. He had to wait for a few days. Seeing the Beast King's messenger at this time, Qing Cheng's face was inevitably a little unhappy. He was from the realm of the gods and was ordered to deliver something. That subordinate of the Beast King dared to make him wait for so long. If it was not for his master's sake, he would have left long ago. "Sir Messenger, I'm really sorry. Something happened on the way, so I was late." The Beast King's messenger had dealt with people from the realm of the gods and knew that these so-called messengers were very proud. He respectfully led Qing Cheng and flew in the direction of the sun-beckoning pavilion. "The statue of faith is on the ship. I'll leave after delivering it. The human realm is indeed a filthy place. I feel uncomfortable all over if I stay a little longer." Qing Cheng's face was full of arrogance. "Don't worry. As long as you confirm that the statue of faith is correct, you can leave. If you want to go to the human realm in the future, you can come to the sun-beckoning pavilion at any time." The Beast King's messenger fawned. A statue was brought out. If Jiao was a god, his character and strength were not very good, but his carving skills were indeed outstanding in the realm of the gods. This new statue was exactly the same as the one Yun Sheng and the others saw in the Beast King Temple. It seemed that the statue in the Beast King Temple was also made by Diao. When the Beast King's messenger saw the statue of faith, his eyes lit up. After carefully inspecting it, he showed a satisfied expression. But at this time, Qing Cheng's expression suddenly changed. "Stop! Where's my master now?" Not many people in the realm of the gods knew that Jiao liked to go to the human realm privately. As for his purpose in going to the human realm, as his eldest disciple, Qing Cheng also vaguely knew a little. It was just that Jiao usually stayed in the human realm for a day and a night at most. This time, although his master ordered people to deliver the statue of faith as usual, the statue was delivered, but Jiao himself had not returned to the realm of the gods. Qing Cheng had just received the news, and he could not help but be suspicious. "You said that Lord has not returned to the realm of the gods. That's impossible. Logically speaking, Rongyang should have sent back the things that Lord bought with him." When the Beast King's messenger heard this, he could not help but change his expression. He felt that something was wrong. He quickly ordered people to contact Rongyang in the moon-embracing pavilion, but this time there was no news from Rongyang. Could it be that something happened to Rongyang? The Beast King's messenger and Qing Cheng both showed an incredulous expression. "Lord Messenger, don't worry. I will take you to the moon-embracing pavilion." The Beast King's messenger thought for a while and decided to take people directly to the moon-embracing pavilion to look for Jiao. Because there was still some distance between the moon-embracing pavilion and the sun-beckoning pavilion, Qing Cheng decided to drive the boat directly to the moon-embracing pavilion. When the boat was moving quickly, the Beast King's messenger and Qing Cheng did not notice that a figure, a short god, had quietly sneaked onto the boat. Chapter 1293. Needless to say, the person who sneaked up was Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng got the help of the mythical beast Rui and successfully got rid of the people in the Zhaori Pavilion. When a messenger of the king of beasts entered the sea of clouds, Yun Sheng had already followed behind. When she found the magic array hidden in the sea of clouds, Yunsheng knew that there must be a magic array that connected the god realm and the human realm. The people of the King of Beasts were really daring. They even dared to set up a magic array that connected to the god realm. Yunsheng already had a faint feeling that there must be a bigger secret hidden in it. When the treasure ship appeared, Yunsheng was also taken aback. Compared to that treasure ship from the god realm, those empty ships that Yunsheng had on the boundless continent earlier could be said to pale in comparison. What made Yunsheng even more surprised was that this ship from the god realm actually had a statue of faith. But in this way, Yunsheng knew where those statues of faith in the Beast King Temple came from. After boarding the ship, the messenger of the King of Beasts and the messenger of God didn't notice that there was one more person on the ship. The treasure ship from the god realm was naturally much faster than the empty ship that Yunsheng had taken before. Under the effect of the two large-scale wind magic arrays at the stern, the treasure ship only flew for half a day and arrived at the location of the moon embracing building. After observing, Yunsheng found out that the moon embracing building and the Zhaori Pavilion were both located on a high mountain, but the moon embracing building was located on the west side. Looking at the mountain, the location was more secretive than the Zhaori Pavilion. The messenger of the King of Beasts and the messenger of God were already standing at the bow of the ship. When the treasure ship descended, the eyes of the messenger of the King of Beasts changed slightly. The original location of the moon embracing building was covered in thick smoke and had turned into ashes. Not to mention Ni Yi Jiao. Even Rong Yang and the others didn't see anyone. Bastard, where is Master? Seeing such a scene, Qing Cheng was very excited. He looked around, but unexpectedly, he didn't find any trace of Master's aura. His heart suddenly became cold. There was only one possibility for his master's whereabouts to be unknown. Ni Yi Jiao was already dead. When the Beast King's messenger saw that the moon embracing and had been reduced to ashes, he was also furious. He also found many corpses in the ashes, including Rong Yang's. Damn it! Who is it that dares to kill the Beast King's subordinate? The Beast King's emissary's face darkened. You must give us an explanation for this matter. Otherwise, I'll have to demand an explanation from 4 Cardinal Divinity. Qing Cheng flew into a rage when he couldn't find Ni Yi Jiao's body. Divine Messenger, don't worry. I have my ways to find the culprit. The messenger of the Beast King looked at the charred ruins with a cold look in his eyes. He chanted a few times, and dozens of black rays of light shot out from the ashes. Taking a closer look, that black light was the mysterious black talisman that Bobo had seen in the Canvas Moon restaurant. These black talisman papers could not be burned even if oil was poured on them. Bobo had thought that the Canvas Moon restaurant had been destroyed with a fire, but she didn't expect that the Canvas Moon restaurant was still hiding such mysterious black talismans. When those black talismans fell to the ground, they turned into divine soldiers wearing masks. These divine soldiers, although they didn't breathe like humans, but under the masks, there were 2 rays of light that shot out, and they looked like living people. The Beast King's emissary whispered to one of the black talisman divine soldiers for a while, and his expression became dignified. How is it? Have you found the culprit? Qing Cheng urged. We have found the culprit. They shouldn't have run far. We will catch up with them soon. The Beast King's emissary laughed. Earlier, when he saw the Canvas Moon restaurant burn to the ground, he was extremely angry. But after he found out the culprit from the divine soldiers, he showed a strange smile. This time, it was really a big loss. He didn't expect that the mortal world universe god who had been missing for so many years would appear in the Canvas Moon restaurant, and she was the one who killed Ni Yi Jiao. The Beast King had always been looking for her whereabouts. If they could capture her this time, the Beast King would definitely be very happy, and he would definitely not pursue the matter of the Canvas Moon restaurant. The Beast King's emissary, Qing Cheng, and the others immediately boarded the treasure ship from the Divine World and flew down the mountain. Hurry up! After we cross this mountain, we should be in Yudu. Between the lofty mountains and precipitous ridges, close to 100 figures were struggling to escape forward. Among these people, there were men and women, and there were also some children. They looked very flustered. These people were the ones who were locked up in the Canvas Moon restaurant with Bo and the others. After Bo and little Ing killed Ni Jiao and burned down the Canvas Moon restaurant, they were also worried. They decided to escape first. But after Bo and little Ing brought along these people, their speed slowed down a lot. Especially since the Canvas Moon restaurant was originally built on top of a mountain. There were no spaceships or flying beasts, and the mountain roads were very difficult to travel. They rushed for a day and a night, but they only crossed 2 mountains. Little Ing, if we continue like this, we'll be caught soon. Because of the long journey, Bo's little face was flushed red. Bo, why don't you go first? Little Ying's physical strength was much weaker than Bo's. Little Ying also knew that Bo could transform into wings and fly away. If she was caught, it would be because of her and the others. I won't leave you behind. Everyone, hurry up. If we don't escape this time, what awaits us is death. Bo raised her voice. Those children, men, and women who were caught by the Canvas Moon restaurant were in a daze because they were under the illusion of the Dream Otter. Now that they woke up, they knew that they were in danger. When they heard that they were going to be caught, all of them were scared out of their wits. They didn't care about their fatigue and rushed with all their might. But how could 2 feet compare to the treasure ship of the divine world? Around noon, a dark cloud suddenly floated across the originally clear sky. When they realized that there was something wrong with the sky, Bo and little Ing looked up. In the sky, a treasured ship that was the size of 2 or 3 houses flew over while riding the wind and breaking the waves. Not good, it's the pursuers. Little Ying's face paled. Bo also opened her eyes wide, but there wasn't the slightest bit of fear on her face. When she killed Ni Jiao, Bo knew that she had chosen a path that went against the path of the divine world. The treasure ship quickly landed with an astonishing momentum. Those people who escaped from the Canvas Moon restaurant fled in all directions. Little Ing was also scared to the point that her face paled. But when she saw that Bo didn't run away, and instead stood in place with a determined face, her heart couldn't help but surge with unprecedented courage. Bo, I will accompany you. If we live together. If we die together. Little Ing walked forward and grabbed Bo's hand. Okay, we live and die together. Bo's heart warmed as she said in a crisp voice. Chapter 1294. Are you the ones who burned down the lunar pavilion? Even with the secret report from the Black Talisman divine weapon, when the Beast King's messenger found out that the ones who burned down the moon embracing restaurant and killed Ni Jiao were actually 2 little kids, he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. The messenger of the Beast King still remembered Bo and little Ing. Weren't these 2 little girls who he had captured from a city? At that time, he only thought that the 2 little girls were clever and cute, and because of Ni Jiao's taste, he captured them. Who would have thought that these 2 little girls would cause the destruction of the lunar embracing brothel? It was really a moment of carelessness, and 2 jinxes had appeared. Next to him, Ni Jiao's eldest disciple, Qing Cheng, was also hesitant. Did these 2 cute little Lolas kill Master? I killed him and I set the fire. Why? Do you have a problem with that? Bo was not afraid at all. Her little face was as cold as ice, and there was only coldness in her eyes. There were more pursuers than she had expected. Moreover, she saw dozens of soldiers behind the messenger of the Beast King. These soldiers were emitting an aura that Bo hated. Even if Bo had the help of the divine sickle, it would be difficult for her to defeat so many people at once. You little brat who doesn't know what's good for you. Wait, there's a fluctuation of divine power on your body. Ni Jiao's eldest disciple, Qing Cheng, seemed to have discovered something as his eyelids twitched. Qing Cheng was from the realm of the gods. Naturally, he was more sensitive to divine power than ordinary people. He just realized that this little girl with rare hair and who looked exactly like a human had an obvious fluctuation of divine power in her body. This fluctuation was obviously much weaker than that of an ordinary master god in the realm of the gods. However, the aura was very pure, and it was definitely divine power. It seemed that this child had just transformed into a human, and her divine body had just been born. Everyone in the realm of the gods knew that the strength of a god at this stage was the most unstable. At the same time, it was also the easiest for them to be devoured. Lord Messenger of the Gods, don't underestimate this little girl. Her true identity is that of a world god in the mortal realm. However, things are different now. She's just a abandoned god now. The messenger of the Beast King chuckled as he sized Bobo up. He had already found out from his soldiers that Bobo was the one who burned down the lunar pavilion and killed Rong Yang and Ni Yijiao. The words abandoned deity made the Beast King and the divine envoy's eyes light up with greed. Anyone who knew a little about the realm would know what an abandoned god was. Abandoned god was a god who was exiled to another realm after he committed God. The god had committed a grave sins god. He god had god of the gods. However, the abandoned god still possessed a divine body. As long as one could obtain a divine body, anyone in the god realm who was not yet a core god, or any race in the human realm, or even magical beasts could become a god. Whether it was the Beast King's messenger or Ni Yijiao's first disciple. Although they were somewhat related to the divine realm, they were not true overgods in the end. If they wanted to become overgods, they would need to go through hundreds or even thousands of years of cultivation. However, they were not gods in the end, and their lifespans were at most 500 years, so they were unable to become gods. But if they could get an abandoned god's divine body, it would be a different story. In their eyes, Bobo was like a piece of Tang Sanzang's meat. So what if you're abandoned god? You two are not even soldiers. You can't do anything to me. Bobo snorted coldly. Her small hands could not help but clench into fists. She hated the messenger of the Beast King and Qing Cheng's eyes. These people were not good people, especially when she heard the words abandoned god. Bobo's heart could not help but twitch. She also knew what the abandoned god meant. She had been abandoned. This matter had been stabbing Bobo's heart all the time. In fact, Ni Yijiao was right before he died. It was best for Bobo to leave the mortal realm and go to the underworld. Perhaps with the protection of Ming's son, she could avoid the fate of being hunted down. In the past, Bobo might have done so without hesitation. At that time, she was weak and needed protection. She only knew how to hide behind Mother Goddess and Ming's Sunday. But after her adventure in the mortal realm, Bobo was different from before. She was not willing to be a burden to Ming's Sunday. That's not necessarily true. Lord Messenger, why don't we join forces? After we get the divine body, we can split it 50-50. This way, we can greatly increase our chances of becoming gods. The messenger of the Beast King could not help but lick his lips. He had already begun to imagine the wonderful taste of Bobo's divine body. The messenger of the Beast King secretly thought that it was fortunate that Ni Yijiao was dead. Otherwise, he would not have the chance to get a new body. Little Ying, stand aside. Bobo could also see that the two of them were up to no good. Her small body suddenly soared into the sky. The two divine sickles turned into a pink hurricane. The hurricane's momentum was very shocking. It made it impossible for people to get close. Black Talisman soldiers, go. The messenger of the Beast King had come prepared. At his command, dozens of Black Talisman soldiers behind him shot out like dozens of arrows. Bobo looked at the divine soldiers whose momentum had skyrocketed. There was some surprise in her eyes. She could feel that the energy fluctuations on the Black Talisman soldiers were very similar to the previous Black Talisman. They were all surging with divine power. Kill! The Black Talisman soldiers let out a furious roar, and divine bows appeared in their hands. Then the divine bows flashed. Divine arrows condensed on the bowstrings. In an instant, countless arrows rained down on Bobo like a torrential rain. Bobo did not dare to underestimate the enemy. Her small face tensed up. Her body spun like a top. The two sickles protected her body. The divine soldiers also seemed to have spiritual consciousness. The bows in their hands gathered together. Boom! The earth shook. It was as if the entire mountain range was going to be razed to the ground. Countless divine bows gathered together to form a black python. The python opened its ferocious mouth. Like a tumbling flood, it blasted toward Bobo. The pink hurricane and the black python collided, forming a powerful energy fluctuation. The children and little Ing, who were running in all directions, were all sent flying by a huge force. The two forces weakened each other. Bobo's body was sent flying and rolled on the ground. Her pink curly hair scattered messily. Her body was also covered with various wounds. The messenger of the Beast King was delighted. He was about to summon the divine soldiers to launch the final attack. You really want to hang yourself. You don't want to live anymore. How dare you touch my people? A somewhat mocking voice made the messenger of the Beast King and the divine messenger, who thought that victory was in their hands, stop smiling. Chapter 1295. Hearing that voice, Popo and little Ing were dumbfounded. They looked at the source of the voice in disbelief. A fiery light shot out from the treasure ship behind the Beast King's emissary Ching Chung, charging towards the dozens of black talisman soldiers. The messenger of the Beast King and Ching Chung stared at the flame with their mouths agape. The flame was dazzling like a scorching sun. It stung their eyes. The flame was fierce and fast. In the blink of an eye, it had reached them. Looking carefully, there was a person in the flame. It was a young lady. Like a phoenix bathing in fire, she walked out of the flame slowly. She was wearing a moon-white doctor's robe. Her smile was like a blooming summer lotus. She was alone, but it felt like she was the moon surrounded by stars. The most terrifying thing was the flame beside her. Wherever the flame passed, even the boulders were burned to ashes. However, the lady in the flame didn't seem to feel anything. The lady walked over leisurely. She was like a sun emitting light and heat, especially her eyes. It was as if she could ignite a person with just one look. Facing the murderous black talisman soldiers, the lady didn't seem to care. She only glanced at Popo and little Ing. After making sure that they were fine, she looked around and stared at the messenger of the Beast King and Ching Chung. What's going on? Where did this person come from? Ching Chung was shocked to see someone jump out of the treasure ship. He didn't know that there was a person hiding on the treasure ship. If you want to snatch Popo's divine body, you have to ask me first. Yinsheng raised her eyebrows and sneered. Yinsheng always paid attention to being sure of victory. She had the chance to deal with the messenger of the Beast King and Ching Chung on the treasure ship. However, she wanted to know more secrets. That was why she hid in the dark. As expected, she heard a lot of things. When the treasure ship caught up with Popo and the others, she heard everything that Popo and the messenger of the Beast King and the others said. As it turned out, Bo's world deity position was threatened, and the mortal world deity had another strong competitor. However, unlike the last time, Yinsheng wasn't in a hurry to help when Bo was attacked. She also wanted to see how long Bo could last by himself. The incident of the universe god in the mortal world also made Yinsheng realize that she had spoiled Bo too much. Whether it was in the mortal world or the divine world, the survival of the strong and the elimination of the weak was the only law. Luckily, Bo's performance was a lot better than Yinsheng had expected. It was only at the last moment, when Bo could no longer hold on, that Yinsheng made a move. How dare he hit her people, courting death? Yinsheng's eyes turned sharp, and the divine lotus hellfire beside her turned into dozens of streaks, rushing towards those divine weapons like shooting stars. Those divine weapons were formed from mysterious black talismans, but in terms of their origin, they were still black talismans. In the mortal world, they could be considered invincible, and even divine weapons could hardly hurt them. However, today they just had to meet Yinsheng, who had the divine lotus hellfire. Once the hellfire touched those black divine weapons, it ignited. The dozens of black divine weapons made crackling sounds as they burned and immediately turned into pieces of talisman paper, ignited, and fell from the sky. That fire was actually able to burn the black talisman divine weapon of the god realm to nothing. Ching Chung didn't know who Yinsheng was, but the messenger of the Beast King knew. Although the appearance was different, that voice, the messenger of the universe god's face, twitched fiercely. It was her. This woman was the female miracle doctor that he had recruited into the Zhao Ri Pavilion earlier. He clearly saw that Yun Sheng didn't have any aura or magic fluctuation. So how could she release such a powerful flame all of a sudden? And what's with the intense magic fluctuations around her? Damn it. He actually made mistakes one after another. Not only did he capture a universe god from the mortal world, he even provoked such a female fiend. After using the divine lotus hellfire to force back the divine weapons, Yun Sheng swept to the front of Popo and little Ling Ying. You too, did you eat leper guts? Murder? Arson? Who did you learn this from? So young and bad. Yun Sheng was angry and amused at the same time. Looking at these two little guys, their bodies were wounded and their clothes were dirty. These two little fellows really made her worry sick. Learn from you, Popo and little Ling Ying said in unison. Yun Sheng rolled her eyes. These two little brats were really lawless, but it seemed that if she thought about it carefully, they did learn from her. Cough, cough. All right, don't learn good things and bad things. But you're not good at learning, so I have to help you deal with the aftermath. This is not good. Look carefully. If you want to kill, you have to kill them until they cry for their parents and not leave a single one alive. As Yun Sheng said, her eyes suddenly turned cold and stared at the messenger of the Beast King and the messenger of God. Both of them shuddered. This woman, although not a god, had a suppressive force on her, which made people feel as if they were facing a god. Humph! No matter who you are, you offended the Master Beast King, so only death awaits you. The messenger of the Beast King sneered and suddenly took out a bottle. In the bottle, a viscous black blood was poured out, and the black blood sprayed on the ashes of the black talismans. On the ground, the dozens of black talisman soldiers that had been burned to ashes by Yun Sheng's divine lotus hellfire suddenly came back to life. Their ashes gathered together in an instant. Yun Sheng's expression changed slightly. After the black talisman ashes were stained with the blood, there was a strange change. The paper gathered together, and the blood vessels and muscles kept growing. First, an arm appeared, and gradually, legs and a torso appeared, and then a body. In just a moment, the ashes had already formed a black humanoid figure. The humanoid figure reeked of blood and gave off a terrifying aura. Dear Master, that's a divine weapon of the realm of the gods. But looking at the situation, the bottle seems to contain some medicinal blood. After the divine weapon of the divine weapon was stained with the medicinal blood, it evolved, and I'm afraid it has become even more difficult to deal with. Bobo's little face was full of nervousness. Evolve? Yun Sheng couldn't help but frown. Don't underestimate these divine weapons. If they evolve properly, they can evolve into divine generals. A divine general possesses the strength of an overgod. Bobo didn't know who was behind the messenger of the Beast King to have such a powerful person. Comparable to a god? Only then did Yun Sheng realize how troublesome the big guy she was about to face was. Hee, at least you have some foresight. That's right, this new divine weapon is not ordinary. It has evolved into a divine general. The messenger of the Beast King laughed proudly. Boom! The moment the messenger of the Beast King finished speaking, the divine weapon of the divine weapon of the Black Talisman had finished its evolution. It stood in front of Yun Sheng, Bobo, and the others like a towering mountain. See that the protest night fox is not going to appear. Calm down, she will appear. Then it will be the husband and wife struggle, laying eggs. I miss the day to have babies and the day to strive for sexual bliss. At the end of the month, please spend your votes. Also, thank you to all the cute girls and little shotas for your tips and subscriptions. Chapter 1296. Under the effect of the medicinal blood, Black Talisman Ashes had become a new Black Talisman Divine General. The Divine General was about 5 or 6 meters tall. He held a blood-red sword, and his body was covered in dark red blood. His eyes shone with red light, like a starving beast trapped in a cage. The Black Talisman Divine General took a step forward with heavy steps. With one step, it was as if the earth was shaking and the mountains were shaking. A hole several meters deep immediately appeared on the ground. What a terrifying power! Yin Sheng was secretly shocked. Divine General, kill these ants from the mortal realm. The messenger of the Beast King shouted in triumph. King of the evil spirits, meet the enemy. The king of the evil spirits appeared behind Yin Sheng at the same time. The king of the evil spirits' eyes were red. He punched out, and a gust of evil spirits rushed toward the Black Talisman Divine General like a storm. In the next moment, the Black Talisman Divine General waved the sword in his hand. The sword wind was earth-shattering. It tore apart the evil spirits and stabbed toward the king of the evil spirits. The king of the evil spirits knew the power of the sword. After protecting his body, he looked serious and let out an angry roar. All of a sudden, its enormous body split into many parts, and countless evil ghosts and spirits attacked the Black Talisman Divine weapon. The Black Talisman Divine General waved the sword. Divine power overflowed. Before the evil spirits could get close, they were turned into wisps of smoke. Even the king of the evil spirits was no match for her. Yin Sheng's face darkened. She jumped up, and several divine lotus hellfire appeared on her fingertips. The hellfire turned into fireballs and smashed at the Black Talisman Divine General's feet like raindrops. The ground immediately turned into a crimson sea of fire. Scorching tongues of karmic fire continuously spat out in an attempt to devour the Divine General of Black Talisman. It's useless. The Divine General has been tempered by the medicinal blood. His skin is no longer black. So what if you have the Divine Fire? You can't do anything to the Black Talisman Divine General. In the eyes of the messenger of the Beast King, Yin Sheng's actions were like an ant trying to shake a tree. It was ridiculous. Yin Sheng was just a human. So what if she had the Divine Lotus Hellfire? Sure enough, the Black Talisman Divine General stepped on the Divine Fire and was as steady as a mountain. A pair of black wings suddenly sprouted from his back, and he flew into the air. Pooh! The Black Talisman Divine General turned his gaze and saw Yin Sheng. He suddenly swung his blood-colored greatsword at Yin Sheng. That sword was astonishingly fast. Master, be careful. Master, be careful. Popo and Little Ling Ying felt like their guts were about to burst. Yin Sheng's heart skipped a beat. Out of the blue, a five-colored light shone from her beast language ring, and the 1,000-year-old ice zither flew out, spinning. Asterisk clang. Asterisk as if two metals had collided, a string of sparks shot out. Divine General Black Talisman's blood-colored broadsword had instantly penetrated the 1,000-year-old ice zither. Being blocked by Ice Harp, the big sword was stuck on Ice Harp. The sharp sword tip was only half an inch away from Yin Sheng's chest. TSK, you dare to destroy my zither. The 1,000-year-old ice zither was forged by her mother, Hu Jiuxing, and Yin Sheng. Yin Sheng cherished it very much and rarely used it. Who would have thought that it would be pierced by this bullshit Black Talisman Divine General's sword today? To Yin Sheng, injuring Bing Qin with a sword was like injuring herself. Seeing this scene, Yin Sheng's eyes turned sharp. She grabbed the ice zither and raised her 10 fingers. A thunderous sound flowed out from her fingers, and the Shinnong medical bracelet on her wrist strangely emitted a blood-colored light. Under her fingers, the sound of the zither was sonorous and powerful. It was like the howling of the wind, like an army with thousands of men and horses, filled with murderous intent. An indescribable, mysterious pressure gradually formed behind Yin Sheng. The Black Talisman Divine General, who was attacking, suddenly paused. The messenger of the Beast King and Qing Cheng were even more dumbfounded. They saw a figure appear behind the ant-like human. It was a man standing with his hands behind his back. He wore a golden dragon robe, and 9 fire dragons circled around him. The man's appearance was not clear, but the terrifying Emperor's aura that was enough to shake the heavens and earth made all living things within 100 miles feel like they were crawling on the ground. That's... The messenger of the Beast King and Qing Cheng were already unable to withstand the terrifying pressure. They became soft-footed shrimps, and with 2 plopping sounds, they knelt on the ground. the god emperor's aura. Just a glimpse of it was enough to shock all the sovereigns in the sky. The 8th chapter of the Dihong song, the pinnacle of the song. The god emperor's aura suddenly appeared. Crack, crack, crack. Under the god emperor's aura, the black talisman divine general fell limp like mud. The messenger of the Beast King didn't even have time to scream before he felt a chill on his neck. He saw that his head was separated from his body, and then everything fell into darkness. Boss Peng and the Elven Queen arrived in time. Their eyes were filled with reverence as they watched the god emperor's figure in the sky gradually disappear. The terrifying god emperor's aura suppressed the black talisman divine general. Almost at the same time, the 1,000-year-old ice zither in Yun Sheng's hand could not withstand the pressure and broke into 2 pieces. The moment the zither broke, the god emperor's figure also disappeared. Old ancestor, this time, you have helped me again. Yun Sheng looked at the remains of the ice zither. While feeling emotional, she also felt very emotional. Just the back view of an emperor god expert was able to kill the divine General Black Talisman, who was a lord god. One could only imagine how terrifying the real flame emperor of Shinnong, or Emperor Jiuyan of the divine world, was. Master, the other people in the sun beckoning pavilion have been killed. Only this guy is left. What do you plan to do with him? Boss Peng and the Elven Queen followed Yun Sheng all the way. Under Yun Sheng's orders, they washed the entire sun beckoning pavilion with blood. My lords, please spare my life. Qing Sheng had originally thought that the other party was just an ant from a mortal world. Who would have thought that this human had hidden his strength so well that he could perform an ancient divine song that even a sovereign god couldn't play and attract the might of God Emperor? Qing Sheng did not dare to fight anymore. His legs were shaking like noodles as he knelt in front of Yun Sheng and the others and begged for mercy. This person is very annoying. Why don't we just kill him? Boss Peng hated people like Qing Sheng who fawned over others the most. Moreover, this person was with the Beast King and the others, so he must be the same kind of person. Don't be impulsive. He still has some uses. Yun Sheng rolled her eyes and looked at Qing Sheng. She had hidden on the ship just now and heard it very clearly. That's right. This person is Ni Yi Jiao's disciple. He'll be very useful if we keep him. Bo Bo also glared at Qing Sheng fiercely, but she did not kill him. She also had some more thoughts in her eyes. Becoming an abandoned god was a big blow to Bo Bo. However, there were pros and cons as well. It also made Bo Bo grow a lot. Since the so-called universe god candidate could use Ni Yi Jiao, why couldn't she, Bo Bo, use Ni Yi Jiao's disciple and frame that person instead? Chapter 1297. The subtle changes in Popo's heart were all seen by Yun Sheng. Unlike ordinary summoners and life-bonded beasts, for Yun Sheng, Popo was no ordinary magical beast. Yun Sheng could clearly feel Popo's pain. What she could do now was to help Popo rebuild his confidence. Whether the other party was a god or a demon, as long as Popo was hurt, Yun Sheng would kill him without hesitation. Popo is right. This person is still very useful. The matter of world gods has not been decided yet. If I'm not wrong, the Beast King is not an official world god yet. Popo and him still have a chance. And this person will become a very important bargaining chip for us, Yun Sheng said. Yun Sheng thought about it. That treasure ship was something from the divine realm. If she wanted to use it for herself, she needed someone who knew the ropes. More importantly, Yun Sheng and Popo both want to find out about the belief statue through Qing Sheng. Qing Sheng was forced into a corner and could only be escorted onto the ship by Boss Peng Yu. Let me ask you, how is this belief statue used? What does the Beast King want to do with it? Yun Sheng pointed to the brand new belief statue on the ship. The belief statue is used to collect the power of belief. This belief statue, made by Master, has a small conversion magic array inside. As long as enough power of belief is collected, the belief statue can convert the power of belief into divine power. Qing Sheng was not willing to say, but he was frightened by Boss Pengyu's fierce eyes and immediately told her everything. After listening, Yunsheng stepped forward and checked the belief statue. Sure enough, inside the belief statue, Yunsheng found a very mysterious conversion magic array. This was Nie Jiao's special point. Nie Jiao's divine power was weak and could not even compare to Popo. Back then, he was able to get the favor of divine four directions by virtue of his special carving skills and was promoted to a master god. However, after Nie Jiao became a chief god, the four cardinal divinity forbade him from casually making statues of faith to prevent him from misusing his special ability, let alone selling them to the mortal world. A statue of faith made by Nie Jiao could continuously absorb the power of faith for 10 years and convert it into divine power. It can convert the power of faith into divine power. Ever since Bo found out that she had become abandoned god, she had been a little depressed. Now that she heard Qing Cheng's words, her eyes lit up a little. In other words, as long as she had enough statues of faith, it meant that she could also obtain an endless stream of divine power. But even if I have divine power, it's useless. I've already been abandoned. She thought of something and lowered her little head again. That look made people feel that she was very pitiful. You're wrong. Bo, if the other party is really a world deity, why would he sneakily use the statues of faith to obtain godly power? I'm guessing that the so-called Beast King is still in a waiting state like you. The two of you can still compete fairly, Yunsheng said with certainty. That's right. All world deities have a boundary seal. Bo's boundary seal is still hidden on her body. Mother God also did not order anyone to take away my boundary seal. Bo's eyes were shining. After listening to her master's analysis, she felt a little more confident. My lords, actually, I've heard a little about the world deities. Lord Bo and Lord Beast King are both candidates for the world deity position. Although Divine Four Directions had no way to stop the selection of candidates for the new world deity position, it was said that she had a big quarrel with the other Divine Four Directions. In the end, the Divine Four Directions made the other Divine Four Directions compromise. The candidates from both sides will compete fairly. Whoever wins the hearts of the people in the mortal world will be the true world deity. On the side, Qing Cheng, in order to save his life and curry favor with the two of them, told them all the gossip he had heard from Nie Jiao. Although the so-called Beast King had not taken office yet, the Master Gods, including Nie Jiao, all believed that Bo, who did not have the strength, did not have the support of her clan, and did not have the help of Divine Four Directions, an underworld god, could never defeat the Beast King. That was why they were so certain that Bo was already a deity. Let me ask you, how many statues of faith did Nie Jiao sell to the Beast King? Hearing Qing Cheng's words, Yunsheng finally understood why the Beast King would go through so much trouble to establish the moon-embracing tower and the sun-beckoning pavilion, and used dirty means to collude with Nie Jiao in exchange for the statues of faith. Including this one, there are a total of 11. The previous 10 have already been transferred to the 8 desolates one after another. It's hard to take them back now. Qing Cheng was Nie Jiao's last disciple. He was very clear about the dirty tricks of Nie Jiao and the Beast King. He was also in charge of the previous 10 statues of the Beast King. Then is there any way to destroy those statues of faith and destroy the creation of new divine power? Yunsheng questioned. I'm afraid this matter is a little tricky. If we go to the Beast King temples and destroy the statues of faith, I'm afraid we will attract public anger. You are Nie Jiao's last disciple. Do you have any ideas? Yunsheng said as she touched her chin and looked at Qing Cheng with a treacherous expression. Yunsheng had been to the Beast King temple in Wu City. The people of Wu City had great respect for the Beast King. Yunsheng was not a fool. Whoever wins the hearts of the people wins the world. Needless to say, she was here to pacify the hearts of the people and collect the power of faith. Destroying the statues of faith was tantamount to singing a different tune from the people. Therefore, if forced to not work, she could only use words. Qing Cheng's scalp went numb from Yun Sheng's stare. This, miss, my skills are not good, there's no way. Qing Cheng still wanted to evade. Not good? I have some corpse-rotting water. I don't mind turning you into a pool of corpse water. Yun Sheng curled her lips, and a bottle of potion appeared in her hand. Spare my life, great aunt. This little one will kowtow to you. Let this little one think about it. Think about it, there will definitely be a way. Qing Cheng cursed his bad luck in his heart. It was also his bad luck that the statue of faith fell into the hands of this she-devil. He really did not understand how this woman could obtain the protection of the god Emperor's divine might. Soon, Qing Cheng thought of a way. Actually, I really do have a way to transfer the Beast King's power of faith to Lord Bo Bo. Qing Cheng was able to become the last disciple of Ni Jiao because he knew how to take advantage of the situation. In order to save his life, he proposed two very good methods. The first method was to tamper with the magic array inside the statue of faith and change the transmission of divine power. As for the second method, it was to change the hearts of the people and make them no longer worship that rotten Beast King. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.